We all know that AI is making content creation and money making easier by the day, but everything is moving so fast, some of the technology is intimidating, and it's just hard to get straight up instructions on how to use AI to create a brand and make money. That's exactly what you're getting here in this deep dive video today. I'm gonna show you how I'm currently using AI to scale my 8-figure brand. That's that little award thing I got in the back here. Now, you'll see a recording of a seminar that I held in Los Angeles the other day. The people there paid $2,000 to $5,000 each just to be in that room, but it's just too valuable for me to not share it with you here today as well. Now, there's also part 1 of this seminar recording, but it's optional. If you want to, you can watch it after this video by clicking somewhere up here right now. And on top of that, in this very video, you will learn my secrets to creating a deep emotional connection with your audience that I've been using to literally make people buy not only a video course for $500, but even pay me $150,000 for one-on-one coaching. So whether you're a business owner, you want to build a faceless brand, a personal brand, you're an affiliate marketer or an influencer, the next 2 hours will blow your mind, guaranteed. We're building an AI right now. We're not using it. I don't know yet how to use it, but we're so excited that it's basically an AI that you have a call with and it replies in my voice. It sounds like me. And it also has access to all my course programs, every single course that I ever have created. And it has access to the transcripts of that, so it has all the information that's in my course. And then it uses that information as a database. So when you ask it, hey Max, can you help me with motivation? It will scrape through my database and find all the videos about motivation, and then it will give you the exact content. So it doesn't give you bullshit ChatGPT fluff, like just do it, you know, but it actually looks at what is Max spoken about in regards to that exact topic in his videos. And it sounds like this. So this is I'm just gonna play it here with my microphone. This is the first like version 1.0. It's like not barely an MVP, but it already sounds eerily like me. And you'll pick it up that it's AI. That's why I think in the next 12 months it will be perfect. Have a listen.
Great to connect with you. What's on your mind today? How can I help you move forward with your business?
Can you hear it?
Hey, what's up, Max? How you doing?
It's good, right?
Hey, just check
So this is the person testing it.
in, and you know, I need some mindset advice. I'm lacking some motivation today. You think you could help me out a bit?
Now it's processing.
All right, listen up. First off, I totally get it. We all have those days where motivation feels like it's hiding under a rock. But here's the thing, motivation isn't something you wait for, it's something you create. Let's start with a quick mindset shift. Write this down. Action creates clarity. And when you're feeling stuck, it's not about waiting for the perfect...
So this is not me. I've never spoken it like that. It sounds close to me.
And the speed is different.
Exactly, the speed is different. It sounds clunky a little bit sometimes. Sometimes the voice pitches a little bit differently than my natural voice. But that's just a matter of it learning how I speak exactly. And then again, like the latency. And if you use that model, you could then theoretically also feed it a cold calling script and do phone calls. The crazy thing about the cold calling script with cold calls is there's companies who do it already. They just non-stop call people because the AI can call 1,000 people at the same time, right? It doesn't need a dial or anything. And there's companies who do that already. I think at some point there's going to be some sort of rules against it, but the quote-unquote good thing is that the law is always way behind. It will take it years for it to catch up, and once it catches up and actually forbids you to do cold calling with AI, there's probably going to be like a workaround. Like there's like a human who has to press one button and boom, it's not officially AI anymore, and now there's a workaround. You do that for 2-3 years until the law catches up again. But that works. But what works like a charm perfectly already is DMing. I've talked about this yesterday. If you go to Max Tornow Business, my business Instagram account, that's my AI DMing you. It speaks like me, sounds like me, it sends you selfies of me. It sends you selfies of me with your name on it. So they're like, oh cool, it is actually Max, right? It's like, hey, what's up, John? It's Max. And it books calls nonstop, which is pretty nice.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, it's really great. It's really great, yeah.
Good. 2 questions back.
Sorry, did that answer your question? I forgot.
Yeah, I was curious what that program was. Is it built into, it's built in from your company?
Yeah, we're building it. Well, there's always tools that you're feeding into. So we don't build anything from scratch, but there are audio tools, and then you just program them and then build it up from scratch based on that baseline. Use it for yourself, or use it for your clients, and so on and so forth.
Is that in here?
It depends on which tier, but like I said, we're building this right now. We're not giving it to our clients yet because it's not ready yet. But in general, anybody that is working with me one-on-one that is signing up, you're gonna get all the updates as they come out. Like as long as you're with us, like we're like, hey, we have this new thing here, go and knock yourself out. So yeah, sorry, back to your question.
Yeah. So it's a two-part question about going viral. So I've had a couple posts go viral when it's got 700 something thousand views, but it's also not, it's kind of more for the masses. It's sort of not my 10 ideal clients, they're not 15, 30 plus K buyers. So is there a way to go viral? I guess is there a way to go viral that doesn't kind of sense to people? Is there a way to go viral amongst like only a high caliber audience?
Theoretically, yes. So his question is, he's gone viral a couple times before, but not, a vast majority of these people are not in his exact target audience, which is totally fine. And his question was, is there a way to go viral for people that are only in my target audience? Theoretically, yes, as long as that audience is actually big enough. Right? If you said like, okay, can I get 700,000 views and 700,000 of them are perfectly in my target audience, I would ask like, is the demographic itself large enough to even encompass 700,000 people that have access to internet that are going to be into this problem that you're solving? But the thing with going viral is you're playing the game of numbers. It's a pure numbers game. So if you say, okay, I get 700,000 views, even if 1% of those people, meaning 99% are not in my target audience, even only 1% of them are in my target audience. What's 1% of 700,000? 7,000? Is my, yeah, right? Yeah. That's a shit ton of people, you know what I mean? So let's just for the sake of that argument, 7,000 people are tax sharp in your target audience. Out of these 7,000 people, you have a 10% conversion rate. 10% conversion rate to actually reply to the call to action is absolutely realistic. For the sake of argument, let's be even more conservative and say 1% conversion rate out of 700,000 people. Out of 7,000 people, what's 1% of 7,000 people? 70. That's really fucking good. 70 people that are tax sharp in your audience that reply to the call to action, and that's again just me saying I'm conservative. Instead of 10%, we use 1%. So you're just going for fucking mass with this. That's all you're doing with going broad. It's the same when I'm doing a Super Bowl commercial, right? How many people usually see a Super Bowl commercial? What do they say on average? It's like 1 billion people or some crazy number. And not everyone is going to be in your stupid target audience, but you just go for such a mass that you still hit a lot of people. And that's exactly why what we talked about yesterday with the funnel, that's why you have the other two parts of the funnel, the middle of the funnel and the bottom of the funnel. Because with the mass, you gathering people in, and then and with the middle of the funnel and bottom of the funnel, you're sifting people out, the ones that you don't want. So that's basically all that marketing is. If you really look at marketing from a base level to get you to your first, 10,000 a month, whether you're a coach or you want to sell affiliate marketing or you have any sort of brand or physical product, what you do with the first 10,000 is you try to go as direct as possible, right? Because you don't have paid advertising yet. You might not have gone viral yet. So what you're doing is you usually reach out directly to people that are in your audience, right? That is where you like manually scrape through accounts and you're like, okay, this guy is 35, this guy looks like he lives in this place, this person looks like they're interested in what I do, and then you DM them directly. And you can make your first 10,000 like that. And then what you do is once you make between $10,000 and $30,000 a month mark, that is where you then start to going more and more broader, and it kind of switches from you reaching out to the people kind of like a sniper approach to you just kind of like spraying and praying. You ever heard that word? Is you just basically like try to reach more people and then sift the baddies out so you're left with the good ones. And then later on, once you're at like a 500,000 a month, it's literally just a game of like disqualifying. I've had a meeting earlier with my team over that is in Europe and the US on WhatsApp, and we have this problem, for example, this week, that we've never had this many inbound leads, ever. My team has been really trained and specialized on outbound leads, meaning they're calling people that just opt in, they just drop a phone number, they're calling them up, they instantly know if someone's financially qualified, and then they get these financially qualified to move on in our funnel and talk to a specialist, and then they can get enrolled in our programs. Now that we've been scaling and things are blowing up and we're going viral, we get more and more people coming to us, and my team doesn't know how to deal with people that come to us. So they're like, oh shit, we are drowning in leads. We don't even have time to call the other folks. and we were on the phone call with more and more unqualified people. So now we had to step in and be more aggressive and tell my people like, hey, like within 5 minutes you need to figure out if there's alignment or not. Because if there's no alignment, you need to start talking to the next person in line. And we literally had to already turn people away. I had literally got 2 DMs in the last 24 hours of people who are like, yo, I wanted to buy your programs, but I got turned away. And I'm like, yeah, we're too full right now. So that constraint is probably gonna last for like 1 or 2 more weeks until we really hammer it into the team, because they're human beings. They need to repeat the things until they really have them implemented. And then once that is, we're gonna be firing in all cylinders again. And then once we're on that cylinder, what are we gonna do? We're gonna make much more money. What are we gonna do with that money? Remember the thing I said in the free event on Thursday, first you have time. With that time you make money, then you make money, you use that money to leverage to make you even more money to buy back time. So with that extra money that we're going to be making, we're going to increase the ad spend again. We're dialing it up, right? So we're going to be increasing the ad spend. You can do this organically too. You can just post more content. You can hire more people that use the AI system to create more content. Now you're going to get more people in again. So we're going to have another constraint. We're going to fix that. We're going to make more money again, and so on and so forth. And that's just how you scale to like $1 million a month and beyond, and so on and so forth. I forgot what your question was. I'm sorry.
If I have some posts that have gone viral, I've got something that people are still going back and forth in the comment. Is it important to message and reply back to every comment if it's a shit ton of people?
Hell yeah. If you can, yes. You can automate that though.
Okay.
Yeah, say it again?
ManyChat?
ManyChat, exactly. You got it already.
And so should I guess I can probably scoop cash out of those posts then.
You can probably what?
I can probably pull some sales out of those posts then.
100%, 1,000%. So what we have, has anybody ever seen an Instagram post and then the Instagram was like, hey, comment so-and-so down below for more information? Marcel does it, right? This is probably why some of you came here. This is what we call a CTA post. CTA standing for call to action. And the reason why this, so back in the days, if you remember like the old school days, we had the swipe up function on Instagram stories. Anybody remember that? We don't even have that anymore. So that was back then a swipe up call to action. You would say, hey, swipe up, and then it would bring people to a link. Then that got removed. Then Instagram had the link in bio. Link in bio still exists, right? Everybody knows what a link in bio is in Instagram. Who here does not know what that is? Say it again? Exactly, yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, so link in bio is like if you go to my profile, there's like a link right underneath my profile photo, and you can click on that link, and then it brings you to my website, and the website converts. Now, people have figured out that, hold on a second, when you go to an Instagram post, right, so for example, this is an Instagram video on your feed now. On the very right, I think you have this little bookmark sign, remember? Right? That's the saving. I think on the very left you have the heart, which is the like button. Then you have the little bubble for the comments. I think I'm not sure if I'm fucking up left and right now, but I think it's like this, right? So Instagram has used these here to gauge the so-called engagement, right? If a post gets a lot of likes, that's really good. If it gets a lot of comments, that's really good. If it gets a lot of saves, that's really good. Oh, and then of course there's the little arrow thingy. It looks like this. That's the share button. So the more you get of these, the higher performing your video or your post is going to be. Now the thing is though, Instagram ranks these differently. They're not equal, okay? Likes are pretty important, but not the most important one. We talked about this yesterday, I think. The most important one that Instagram loves is this one right here, shares. Any idea why shares is so important?
Yes, time that will be the people who spend on Instagram.
Exactly. Virality, the time that people spend on Instagram, because if I see a video of a cat on a skateboard, I'm gonna send this to my girlfriend, right? So my girlfriend might not be on Instagram the moment I send her that, but she now will be. Does that make sense? Because I just sent the thingy to her. So Instagram, the platform, of course, makes more money if more people spend more time on the platform. So it incentivizes you to post more shareable content. And if you have more shareable content, Instagram is like, we like this account because it makes more people use our fucking app. So this is a very, very key figure here. What also is important is comments, right? That's the little bubble thing here. I'm gonna put a little bit of a smaller arrow here because it's not as important, but it's still very important. Why is this comment function so important? If a lot of people comment, it means they spend more time on the platform. Again, what usually happens when people comment? Any idea?
It lets the algorithm know that they like this type of content?
Yes, it lets the algorithm know that they like this stuff of content, for sure, but most importantly, people will discuss. Right? You have whatever, a video of a girl that is very skinny. You're gonna have a bunch of simps underneath that say, wow, it's so beautiful, but then you have some other person that says, that's too thin, right? Go eat a sandwich. Now another person reads that comment and is like, oh, fuck you, that's healthy. And now the other person's like, oh, skinny is not healthy. And next thing you know, they're fucking discussing things left and right, which means more people are gonna join that conversation, which means more people are gonna be on the platform, but even more importantly, more people are gonna be emotionally invested in the conversation underneath this piece of content. The more emotionally invested they are, the more time they spend on the platform, the more addicted they become. Remember what we talked about yesterday? Yeah, one sec. Remember what we talked about yesterday? It's like you want to be on the creating side of social media. I don't want to be in the fucking comment section discussing about whether or not someone should eat a fucking sandwich. That's a waste of my fucking time. But I sure as hell want to be the person who created that video. Does that make sense? Because now more people go see my shit. One sec. Don't keep your hand up, because you're going to have it up for a while. Now the thing is with this comment section is, when you say, hey folks, whatever, here's a piece of content. If it was my brand, right, I would be like, okay, here's the top 3 ways to create a viral hook, and I would make the video, talk about the top 3 ways, and then I would end the video by saying, by the way, I have a whole list with viral video ideas. I'm gonna send it to you for free. All you have to do is comment the word list down below and you'll get a DM. Everybody's gonna wanna have that fucking list of what, viral video ideas? That sounds really cool. I wanna have that list, I'm gonna comment down below. Now, every person that watches that is gonna think about commenting down below, and a lot of people will eventually comment. So all of a sudden, instead of getting 2 comments, I get 200 comments because everybody wants to have that list. It's what we call a freebie. Right? You give something out for free, all you have to do is comment down below. Now that in turn tells the algorithm, wow, a lot of folks are commenting underneath this video, which means it's probably important, which means I'm gonna show it out to more people. The algorithm will play it out to more people automatically. And that does now a lot of cool things. Number one, you give away something for free, meaning people will be more engaged with your stuff because they're not just going to watch a video, but now they're also going to consume the free thing that you're giving them. Number two, the algorithm is liking it because it's now going to playing out to more people because you get more engagement here. And in number 3, you might even get more shares as well because someone says, hey, check it out, there's this free list that you can get. Here's the video, all you gotta do is comment down below. So you really do a lot of good things for the algorithm. Now back to your question when you said, hold on a second, but when I get all these fucking comments, do I have to now manually reply to all of it? If I get 200 comments and I have to 200 times, A, reply back to their comments, hey, check your DMs, and B, I need to now send out the stupid list in my DMs, I'm gonna sit there forever. And if I'm quote unquote unlucky, I go viral and I get 64,000 comments, and I have to do 64,000 messages. No human can do that. I've had comments that got 17,000 comments. I've had videos that got 17,000 comments because 17,000 people wanted the free thing. That's a lot of fucking leads. Now, there's an automation in there that's called ManyChat. ManyChat isn't even AI, it's just like a simple programmable automation. You hook it up to your Meta account, to your Instagram account, it's free to use too. And by the way, because you asked it earlier, we give a breakdown in our programs on how to use ManyChat, how to set it up and how to have it automatically reply to everything. And you basically say, okay, hey ManyChat, every time someone comments the word list down below, number 1, comment back and say, hey, check your DMs. And number 2, send that profile the following text or the following link in the DMs. And the way we do it is, it's pretty smart. When we send them a DM with the list, we don't just send them the link to the DM, but we actually send them the link to the list, but they have to drop their email first. So the DM sounds something like this: hey John, thanks for commenting underneath my video. As promised, here's the viral list. All you gotta do is drop your email, link. And then it links it, and then the person is like, I want that list. Now they drop their email. Now what happens is 2 things. Number 1, I have that person in my DMs now. I can do anything in that DM. I hook it, for us personally, we hooked it up to our chat AI. So the AI continues the chat. Ask that person about the goal. Oh, by the way, so you want to go viral? What's your business? Cool, what's your problems? You know what, we'll go book a call. Book a call, and then on the call we sell them our program. So we have them in the DMs, but most importantly, let's assume they don't reply in the DMs anymore. We have their email now. The moment they sign up with their email, they get what? An email list. They're hooked up to an automated email list that just fires 1 email every day for the next 30 days. And what does the email do? It warms them up, it tells them about me, it tells them what we have to offer, it sends them testimonials from our previous clients, and so on and so forth. So now we're firing, instead of one person watching a video, right? Instead of one person watching a video, they watch a video, they're in the DMs, they're in the emails. That is already a much stronger connection than just having watched a 15 to 30 second video. That's the power of social media. How much did that cost me? How much did this setup cost? Nothing. I shot a video, I uploaded it to Instagram. I don't pay Instagram to upload my video. You know what I mean? Like it's free. You just record it, right? You hook it up to the comment thingy for free. You create an email list. Okay, sending out the email costs like $19 a month or something. You have to sign up for an email provider. But you know what I mean? That's not expensive. If you sell a program for $3,000 and you pay $19 a month to send out a couple of emails for you, that's a pretty good deal. That's a pretty damn fucking good deal. And like that, you can build an email list within a day if you go viral, right? And then you have a huge email list. Like anybody remembers, anybody had to buy email lists back in the days? Anybody remembers that? That like an email, if you had an email list with 10,000 people, it's like you had to guard that. It's like a pile of gold. Like if your email list got leaked, any competitor could just like hit up your email list and sell to your people. That used to be something super valuable. Now you can build an email list with one fucking video. Like people had to build email lists over years. I remember that with RSD. They were like, this is our email list, there's 16,000 people in there. We built that up for years. Nowadays, like you just create some cool thing for free and tell people to comment down below. It's pretty cool. Oh, and one last thing is like, what free thing could I give away? Anybody has asked that question? Anybody wondered that? Like, hold on a second, what do I give away for free? Give me something valuable, a PDF, an Excel sheet, a Google sheet, a free secret video that you can't see. So for example, what I could do, the video that I recorded yesterday, right? The speech that I recorded yesterday, I could put it on YouTube, but I could also give it away for free secretly. Right? I could make a video about like, here are the 5 life-changing lessons that I've had that made me, whatever, $10 million in so many years. And I would make a 30-second video about that. And then I said, hey, by the way, I did a 4-hour mastermind seminar in front of a paid crowd. And I recorded it. If you want the recording, just comment recording down below and I could give that away. You could also just make a secret video right now. Like you could just give me away 10 secrets, you film it on your iPhone and you give that away for free. Anything that is like a small bit of value. Imagine your offer, whether it's coaching or a physical offer or anything like that, like a pie, like a piece of, like an entire pie that you baked, right? A piece of cake. You give away one slice of it. I have the full taste of it, it's really good, but it's not the whole piece of cake, it's just a slice of it. And that slice you can give away for free. What was that, your question, right? Did that answer the question? I can't remember. You can't remember either.
Oh yeah, I was just on responding to, yeah, we were down a rabbit hole. Yeah, so I'm responding to comments, how to pull cash out of posts that have gone.
Hook up ManyChat. If you get more than 10 comments a day, like ManyChat. Hook it up, you set it up, done. Did you join the program with me?
Yeah.
Good, perfect, we'll help you hook it up. I'll literally connect you with the guy that set up my ManyChat, easy. Does it fucking automatically, it's pretty sick. One second, yes? ManyChat. I'll write it down. Many like much, chat. ManyChat. You had one more question? Was it clear?
Yeah, it's just helpful work on. I'm attracting better people because I'm looking at the comment section on viral stuff. It's a bunch of dipshits.
You're overthinking. You're overthinking.
Think so?
You're overthinking, yeah, 100%. You're looking at their profiles, I mean, unless they say like, whatever, India, 12 years old, maybe then, yeah. But like sometimes people, here's the funniest thing, okay? I'll tell you one thing for social media when you're not sure if the people that are consuming your content are of high quality, usually the shittiest looking profiles have the most money. I'll tell you why. Because most of the people that make more money are in their 40s, 50s, 60s, and they don't know how to use social media. So sometimes their profile is like a private profile with 0 posts, and the profile photo is like a house.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, what is this fucking house? And it turns out this guy's like in real estate, has made $5 million last year. So never throw the baby out with the bathwater. That's why I would that's why I would always have ManyChat hookups. Everybody gets the reply anyways, and then we can always sift out later. Worst case scenario, especially if you have an AI chatbot, worst case scenario, the AI chatbot figures out where they're from, and then, okay, they're not from a first world country, or they're not old enough, they don't make enough money. So, well, now the AI wasted like 10 messages. The AI costs like a couple cents per message, so you lost like 20 cents. You know what I mean? But who cares? Worst case scenario. Worst of the worst of the worst of the worst of the worst case scenarios, you hop on a call with them. And in the first 10 minutes, it turns out that they don't have the buying power. What we do is we always calculate in averages, by the way. So for example, if I have a closer and he sells a program of mine for $25,000 and his average closing rate is 20%, that means he closes 1 out of 5 people that show up to the call. So we're not thinking if the first 4 people don't buy, we're not thinking, oh, now he has wasted 4 hours of his life. We actually just divide the $25,000 that he makes every 5th call by 5. So he makes $5,000 on average per call. So whether the person buys or not, he just made $5,000. Does that make sense? So we always think in averages, and so should you. So if you know your closing rate and you know your show-up rate, you can calculate exactly, and you of course know what you're paying on your average cash collection rate, you know how much you get paid per phone call. In fact, what we do with our setters, the folks who do outbound calls, like, I don't know the exact number, but we know like the moment someone in my team picks up the phone, we made $250 on average, something like that. It's like you pick up the phone, you made $250 on average. That's always how we think. You had a question over there? Yep.
Yeah. For your own personal business, where do you see the highest ROI social media? Short form content, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, long form podcast?
Great question. Love that question. Okay, so for everybody who couldn't hear that, he says, for the business, for my main business, where do I see the most ROI? Short form video content, YouTube, podcasts, etc., etc. There's a lot of nuance to this. What often happens is the following. Maybe I can schematically draw it out here. Actually, yeah, let me do, I know how to say it. Check this out. So, what happens with short form video content, it's what we call a scroll-based content format. What does that mean? How does everybody consume short form video content? They open their phone and they fucking scroll. Exactly. Like nobody's like, what are you going to do on Friday? Well, I'm going to check out some Instagram reels, right? It's not a planned thing that you do. It's more like something like you're in the bathroom, you're waiting for the Uber, you're waiting for your microwave burrito, and you're like, oh, let me check what's going on, scroll. So what that means, through its very nature of short form video content, you can actually be discovered very easily because a lot of people that don't know you yet will eventually find you because the algorithm will play it out to them. That's one thing. That means how high is my ROI there? It depends how many new people are going to follow me and how well I can convert these new people. How well I convert these people depends on how good my other sort of content is, because there we have long form video, meaning 10 minutes, minimum 10 minutes to whatever, 5 hour plus. What is long form video content? YouTube videos, podcasts. What happens with YouTube videos and podcasts is those are not scroll-based formats. These are formats where there is a specific intention behind it. Nobody scrolls to their account and is like, I'm gonna scroll around until I find a podcast, right? Who here listens to podcasts regularly? Hands up. It's a lot of people actually, way more than I thought. When you listen to a podcast, you have an intention behind it, right? You're like, I'm gonna go on a walk, I'm gonna go walk my dog, I'm gonna do the dishes now, and I'm gonna listen to so-and-so podcast, the Joe Rogan podcast, the Max Tornow podcast. You have an intention behind it, meaning the buy-in of a listener of a podcast or someone that watches your YouTube videos is much higher than the buy-in of someone that just randomly came across your stuff while they're scrolling. Make sense? So, if you have these long form videos, you don't need as many. I don't need to make a long form video per fucking day. But if I do have one, it better be fucking good, and it better warms people the fuck up. So to get back to your question, the ROI per video, per view of the short form is actually really fucking low. Because if I get like 2 fucking million views on that, out of these 2 million people, not a lot of them are gonna be super bought in because they just spent 15 to 30 seconds with that video. It's not a long time, right? I notice, by the way, I notice everyone's demeanor towards me warming up like crazy over the days. Why? Because you spend more time with me. Does that make sense? In fact, the craziest thing was like, on day 1 yesterday, I can't remember which one of you it was, I was sitting over there in the back, and that person thought I was a security guy. He's like asking me where the bathroom is. I don't have a problem, because they didn't know me yet, right? So I was very much like a fly on the wall during the first day. After I was on stage, that completely changed. Every time I'm sitting somewhere, one of you guys or girls is coming up to me, and we have a great conversation. Because you feel warmed up towards me. Because you spent 3-4 hours with me while I fucking speak there, right? So what I want to do is, I want to use this to create awareness. I want people to fucking know that I exist. Hey, I'm here. Hello, I exist. This is my shit. I teach business going viral, just so you know. And then some of these people are like, okay, I gotcha, cool, nice to meet you. So it's a very fleeting conversation. It's like, oh yeah, nice to meet you, bye. Like someone at a party that just walks past by you. With this stuff, it's like I'm sitting down with you and we have a deeper talk. That's why, coincidentally, I can get 3 million views on a 15-second video. It's not going to convert well, or not, it's not going to convert as well as 300 views on a 5-hour podcast episode. The 2 people that have known me from you guys here before both said, I watched your podcast. Who was that, by the way? Was that you? Yeah, it was you and you. Like both of you guys said, hey, by the way, I watched your podcast, right? Was it you too? Yeah. By the way, I watched your podcast. Nobody says, I watched your fucking 15-second video, right? But eventually, if you do it right, you create awareness here, and then they go stay longer with you on the podcast. That's why I love the podcast format so much, because I always call it like this. My podcast is the stupidest, easiest thing that I've ever done that worked. There's zero preparation in my podcast. Just like there's zero preparation for these talks for me, I literally just fucking sit down and I have a chat with someone. And every time, the funniest thing, 2 things happen that are very funny when I do the podcast with someone. Number 1, they always ask me, do I need to prepare? What questions are you gonna ask me when I have a guest on my podcast? I'm like, it's not a fucking interview, dude. I'm not gonna ask you questions. You're gonna come in, we're gonna shake hands, hug, sit down and we talk. So when you look at one of my podcast episodes, it's not like I had spent an hour with that person prior and then I'm like, are you ready? Oh, well, let's press the fucking record button now. It's literally like, hey, what's up? Cool, let's sit down. Sometimes they want to tell me something already. I'm like, hold it in for the podcast. Let's sit down and press record first. I want it to be as natural as possible. And then you talk for 3 hours. Sometimes I have like a couple of questions that I want to ask them in my head, because I'm like, okay, well, this guy's a hypnotist. I want to ask about hypnosis, right? But I don't have anything lined out, because I don't want this to be a, hello everybody, welcome to the Max Tornow podcast. Today my guest is Johnny something. Johnny, what is the thing? I'm not gonna fucking do that. If you want someone with a stick up your ass, go watch CNN. I want a natural conversation with someone. I want the person to say, hey, I've been a fan of Marcel Klein for a long time, and I've never seen Marcel from such a natural side like he had when he was discussing things with Max Tornow. I want people to come to my podcast saying, I've never seen that guest have their shields lowered so much. I've never seen their guests be in such a natural habitat, in such a natural environment as it were in the Max Tornow podcast. And the second thing that happens with the Max Tornow podcast quite a lot is my little secret trick. Anybody wants to know my secret trick for how to let people lower their guard like crazy? Especially when it comes to collaborations and podcasts? Okay, here it is. I train my recording staff to just secretly press the record button right away. And also we turn off the sound that the cameras make. There's no ding, there's no bing, no nothing. It's like the people sit down and it's already recording. Everything is already rolling. And then we talk. And then what usually happens is after 20 to 30 minutes, they're like, hey, when are we recording? And I'm like, well, we've been recording the whole time. this is it, like this is it. And then they're like, oh shit, because not everybody can be natural. Sometimes people are like, oh, the camera's on, and they freeze up and the conversation gets stifled as fuck. I don't want that. I want this to be a seamless transition. They come into the room where we have everything set up, I sit down and I just fucking talk to them. That's why also the podcasts get really good after an hour. I always tell all my podcast guests, I'm like, I want to speak to you at least for 2 hours. I don't do 45-minute bullshit podcasts. I think I have one episode that was 45 minutes, and that was just because we couldn't do it in any other way. But usually I'm like, after an hour, that's where you get really warm. That's where you can go really fucking deep. And you know what? Here's the crazy thing in terms of politics. I'm gonna go out on a limb here. I literally made a YouTube video, I think it was 8 days before Trump got elected. Last year, 2024, November, 8 days before I got elected. And in that video I said Trump's gonna win. Why? Any idea? Why did I say Trump's gonna win? Because it was obvious, okay? Because he was on the Joe Rogan podcast. There was exactly two things that made Trump win. First one, the assassination. The way he handled that, you can hate him or love him, it was really fucking good. In fact, it was so fucking good that a lot of people thought it was fake. I don't think it was fake, but the iconography, that what happened was so fucking good. Anybody knows the picture that was shot right after he got shot? His ear is bleeding, his fist is up, the American flag in the background, the perfectly diverse security force trying to push him out. There's a woman in there and a man. You cannot make this shit up. If this was fake, some fucking marketing genius figured that out. It's like, okay, we're gonna have a perfect shot. There's gonna be the American flag down. There's gonna be blood down. He's gonna have the fist up, and we have a man and a woman trying to push him out of the frame. Genius. When that happened, I'm like, okay, he's probably gonna get elected. The only problem I saw with it was that it was too early. Remember what we said yesterday? The attention span of humans is what?
3 seconds.
Worse than goldfish. So yeah, he got shot and fought, but that was, when was that, in August? July, August? Something like that? I'm like, people are not gonna remember by the time it comes to voting. So the attention went down, and then Kamala had a really good speech. And then all of a sudden it looked like, okay, this is gonna be a real race. Until the very moment he was on the Joe Rogan podcast. I'm like, this is it, he won. That episode got, how many views? Can we look that up? Can someone look it up real quick? I think it got like 80 million fucking views or something like that. That's a third of the country that watched that. And I'm gonna get to the point on why that was so crucial, because people are like, well, I've seen him on CNN before, I've seen interviews on fucking Fox News. How many?
54 million.
34 million? 54 million, that's pretty fucking impressive. But here's the thing, folks. Here's the fucking thing, and this is your most important lesson when it comes to marketing here today. They don't just spend 10 minutes in a fucking interview with Trump, or 90 seconds that you get in a debate. It's 90 seconds, right? You get to answer a question in a debate, 90 seconds, or 3 minutes, or some bullshit like that. You spend 3 fucking hours with that guy in a room listening to what he has to say. That's what a podcast emulates. Because you have Joe Rogan, who's literally like the perfect example of just an average dude, like a bloke that likes to go to the gym, right? That's him, and he asks him like really simple questions. He's not a fucking reporter. President Trump, what is your policy? Or da-da-da. It's literally like, hey man, what's up? Like, what are you gonna do with this? So you literally feel like over 3 hours you're sitting down with Donald Trump. What does that do to your psyche?
I feel like you know him. Trust him.
It's like you fucking know him. It's like you fucking know him. Who here has seen Marcel for the first time in person here yesterday or something? And did you feel like you already knew him by the time you met him? Yeah. Of course. Because you're like, well, he doesn't fucking know you, right? But you're like, I've seen your videos, I watch your shit, maybe I have your course. You're like, I already fucking know you. That's actually the mind fuck when you have a brand. People will come up to you and they will say, oh, I think like we're brothers. And you're like, you're a stranger, I have no idea who the fuck you are. Because they've consumed your fucking content for so long. And here's the crazy thing. There's actually a rule, it's a kinda accurate rule, kinda not accurate. For each $1,000 that a person wants to spend on you, that you want a person to spend on you, they gotta spend 1 hour with your content. If you're really fucking good with your content, like Marcel level, That's probably more like for each $100,000 you can spend an hour with this content. But roughly, especially when you're getting started, if you have someone watch a 1 hour video of your content, pretty sure you can sell them on $1,000 already. So when you spend 3 hours in a podcast where you're just talking to someone and someone watches that, you can get on average $3,000 from that person already. Again, that's like a super general rule. Don't freak out if someone watched 59 minutes. Can't sell them anything, it's only 59 minutes. No, that's not what I'm saying, but like it's a cool rough rule, so to speak. So to get back to your question, they gotta watch a lot of short form video content to be really warmed up already. But if you combine that with long form, you reel them in with short form stuff, they watch a couple of 15 to 30 second videos, then they're like, oh cool, this guy has a podcast, let me tune in while I do my dishes. Now I'm spending 3 fucking hours, this is a lot of dishes, 3 hours listening to the podcast. Wow, I feel like I know this person. So that's why my podcast only has like we're about to crack I think 4,000 followers, 4,000 subscribers on YouTube, plus we have a shit ton of listeners on Spotify and iTunes as well. But like those are not high numbers, but relative to the numbers of the short form video, I get people referencing the podcast all the fucking time. In fact, it's really funny when I look at my sales team's videos, we record all the sales calls on Zoom, and someone, the prospect mentions that they watched the podcast, you can always see my sales guys smile because they know it's going to be a close. They're like, this is a fun podcast, they always fucking buy, which is really, really fucking cool. That of course means though that you got to be fucking natural on your podcast and you got to be yourself, which was always my focus. A thing about being yourself is, not only is being yourself the one thing that makes more people buy from you because they like authenticity, but it also costs you the least amount of energy, right? You've noticed me say fuck, right? I swear on stage sometimes. I try to do it less. If you watch my old videos, I do it much more. But if I was like, because there's probably people who don't buy from me because they're like, I don't like his potty mouth. Literally people like that. I've had people say like, I don't like your potty mouth, I would have bought otherwise, but you said the F word, I'm not gonna buy from you. So if I'm now like if I'm allowing that to fuck with me and say, well shit, I'm not gonna swear anymore, coincidentally, I'm not gonna swear anymore because that's gonna make me more money. I'm gonna be on stage, I'm gonna be all stifled. And coincidentally, that's gonna make me even less money because people are like, this guy is not real. I feel such a gut feeling. This guy's weird. He's not totally himself. So my entire strategy ever since I started in 2011 was always like, I want my brand to be exactly who the fuck I am. So A, I can be natural, and B, it doesn't cost me any energy keeping up a fake fucking persona. That's why I could never go into politics. I'm too honest. I'm too much of a fucking asshole. So I'm like, I can't, like, you know what I mean? So my idea is always like, if someone sees me in a private moment and they're secretly filming me or something like that, I don't want this to be able to be leaked and people are freaking out, right? If someone sees me, whatever, at a fucking heavy metal concert with my shirt off, fucking mosh pitting and screaming and singing along, I don't want people to be like, look at Max Tornow, the professional, look at him with his shirt off. No, when there's videos of me doing that, I want people to be like, well, of course, it's Max Tornow, like he says that he likes metal. So I want it to be as natural as possible because I'm in for the long run. I'm in for the fucking long run. What's the best diet you could ever take?
The one that works.
The one that works, the one that you can stick to for the longest. If you have a great diet, you can only do it for a fucking week, you're not gonna lose weight. What's the best strategy on social media? The one you can stick to the longest, because it is a long-term game. So for me, it was always about authenticity. For me, it was always like, how can I find video formats that I can always create, even when I'm tired, even when I don't wanna do shit, and how can I do things so I can do them in a way that excites me? Make sense? Make sense? Yes. Good. Hold your questions, please, because now I'm warmed up. What I'm gonna do now, what I'm gonna teach you now in the next couple of minutes is the exact difference between content that people watch and not care about and content that makes people want to buy from you. I'm gonna teach you the exact difference between people going meh and people going, hey, can I become your client? In fact, the exact strategy that I'm going to show you now literally has people reach out to me every single fucking day saying, how can I pay you money? Imagine you're walking down the street and someone is like, oh, it's you, here's my money. And you're like, what? Here's my money. That's the basic virtual equivalent of what's going to happen to you. In fact, I literally got a DM earlier today from an old client of mine from years ago. Mind you, that person has already bought my program. And he says, hey Max, are you soon in Austria? I'm here in St. Lambrecht for summer season. Yesterday I spoke with one of your team about coming back to the program. I have $4,000 4,000 euros to invest for a few days. I will see if I can pay it in monthly payments or in one time. Just out of the blue. And what I'm going to show you now is the type of content that will get you messages like this all the time. Guess what? A lot of folks can make pretty looking fucking content. A lot of folks can dance around on a stupid TikTok dance. A lot of folks can make shit where people are like, okay, I'm going to share this. But not a lot of folks can create content that goes through to someone's heart, that makes people resonate with them. Remember the influencer I told you about that got like 1 million followers, couldn't even sell 10 fucking t-shirts? They were able to capture attention, for sure, respect for that, in and of itself a skill, but they couldn't capture someone's heart, so to speak. They couldn't get people to resonate with who they are, with their brand, with their offer. Not enough for them to pay even fucking $20 for a t-shirt. The reason why people come to Marcel and me, paying us $50,000, paying us $80,000, $100,000, is because they can resonate with who we are as a person. People resonate with their wallet. Their wallet goes to that person that they can believe, to that person that they resonate with, to that person that they can imagine hanging out with at a coffee desk, to a coffee table, or something like that. Right? That's what we people do. Here's the thing. There's people less qualified than you making more money than you. There's people that are dumber than you making way more fucking money than you. There's people that give 0 fucks about their clients making more money than you. They're taking money out of their pocket, out of your pocket, putting it into their pocket. Because they know how to do one fucking thing better. And that one thing is, drum roll. Oh, thank you. Let's go. Thank you. The hero story. Anybody heard that term before? Hero story? Perfect. The reason why the Trump thing worked so well, because it hits us in a hero story. You love him or hate him, he's a guy who fought for his country to such a degree that someone out there wants to have him killed. He literally gets shot. The first thing he says is, they're like, you need to get the fuck out of here. And he says, what did he say? Let me through, or something like that? Well, first he says, my shoes, let me get my shoes, right? What did he say when he get...
Fight.
Exactly. First he says, let me get my shoes, let me go through, and then he says, fight. That's a great fucking hero story. Be me. Hi, my name is Donald. I want to change my country because I love my country. Some guy tried to shoot me. So I decided, I'm going to go even fucking harder now because I believe in the people that I serve. It's a pretty fucking cool hero story. Okay? What was the first thing I talked about at the free event when most of y'all got to know me? Remember? And just scream out any facts that you know about my story.
Your story, your journey.
My history, my journey, my hero story. Where am I from?
Australia.
Austria, not Australia, thank you. It's a classic.
Cars in Tokyo.
Tiny town, spent a lot of time in Tokyo. Exactly. The restaurant, the name of the dish. Oh yeah, the guy that named the restaurant dish after me, yeah.
How you worked for free. You quit everything and worked for free.
Exactly how I worked for free, yep. Cleaning up shit, yep. The classic, yeah. That was Marcel cleaning up shit. I did clean up shit the Austrian army as well, though. I didn't mention that, but yeah, that happened. That's my hero story, okay? People resonate with stories. Why do we resonate with stories so much? Because that's all we've had for fucking generations. We didn't have social media. We didn't even have books a couple thousand years ago. It was all just people telling stories, legends about Jesus, about Alexander the Great, about the Spartans, the 300 Spartans that fought off an entire army that was way bigger than them. Julius Caesar. These are all stories we hear. When was Julius Caesar born? I don't fucking know. But I know what he did, right? When was Napoleon born? I don't fucking know. I don't even know what hundreds of years he was in. but I know what he stood for and I know what he did. Everybody knows their story. I'm not going to say this with Jesus because everybody knows when Jesus is born, but it's a great example of how stories prevail through time and they go directly through our heart. You can create religions based on stories. You can create companies based on stories. You can create nations based on stories. So when you leverage the art of the hero story, of your own story, and you're able to sprinkle that out all over your content, whether it's your podcast, or your short form videos, or your long form videos, or a fucking Instagram photo, as long as you include in some of them or all of them your hero story, people know who you are, they know what you stand for, and they will resonate with you and they will buy from you. That doesn't only mean that you need to have a hero story when you're selling coaching or consulting. That also means if you're selling physical fucking products. Let's say you're selling pet food, right? Like you have this like food for your cat. You created this extra little cat nutrition program for your cat and you sell the cat food. You ship it nationally, right? Story A, I created cat food. It's really healthy for your cat. It has all the fucking vitamins in there. It's really good for the digestion. It's $9.99. Go buy it. Story 2, hey, this is my cat Lily. I love her to death. She was a rescue cat. In fact, I found her in the dumpster. Some asshole threw Lily away. And when I walked past by and I heard the little screams of this tiny little cat, my heart melted. So I reached out and I grabbed her from the dumpster and she looked at me with these eyes and the eyes just said, thank you. So over the next 6 months, I nursed Lily back to health. And what I did was I created a formula that allowed Lily that was on the brink of death to not only survive, but to thrive. And now, this is Lily. Look at Lily running around my living room. She's happy, she's purring. This is me and her cuddling every night. She's grateful that I rescued her. But in reality, it wasn't me that rescued her. It was her that rescued me. Cat food, $99.99. I'm gonna buy that shit. I don't even have a cat and I would buy that shit. Because there's a story behind that. Now, how do you create, say it again?
To create the hero story, what's the list that you have jot down?
Oh, that's literally just like podcast, short form video, long form video. It's just meaning that you want to have that hero story. You can sprinkle it in across everything. That's basically what I'm saying. What makes a great hero story a great hero story? I'm going to talk about the meta of that hero story, and I'm going to talk about the micro of that hero story. So, let's talk about the meta first. Actually, I don't even need to write it down. I think you guys will get it anyways. A great hero story starts with a before. This is where you or the product that you resonate with was before. This is the start of the journey. Let me try to find a great example. Arnold Schwarzenegger. We all know Arnold Schwarzenegger, right? What was Arnold Schwarzenegger's start of his journey? Was he already a movie star? Was he already the Terminator? What was he?
Germany, probably.
He was not in Germany, by the way. He was in Austria, but same shit. The bodybuilding, yeah. Most of us know about Arnold Schwarzenegger that he grew up in a tiny village in the Austrian Alps. No rich parents, very poor parents. That was his starting journey. Okay? My starting journey was also in the Austrian Alps, funny enough. And I had nothing. This, in the first stage of your hero story, okay, I'm just going to be like, beginning. I haven't written on paper in so long. I feel like I'm dyslexic. So this is a 1, right? Okay, this is 1. You have the beginning, the starting point. The starting point is mostly comprised of the pain that you felt. The pain, the frustration, odds stacked against you. I would write that like this as well. Odds against you. This is a really shitty situation that you want your hero story to start with, right? Remember the cat Lily, in this fictitious example? Stray cat, some asshole threw her away at the brink of death. Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was small, he didn't have a muscular build, poor family, nobody knew him, all right? Ask yourself what your beginning was. Whatever the journey was for yours. Whether you're a musician, right? Let's say you're a musician. Great journey for you as a musician was like, my beginning was I grew up in a humble family, which I hope you did. Don't lie, by the way. Don't make shit up. I want to say this is like, okay, I'm going to just make shit up now. No. Like, but inspire me with this. Eminem has a great example of a hero story, right? Super shy, couldn't even win this freaking rap battle. But he knew he needed to get out of this trailer home. I'm literally reciting his lyrics from lose yourself in the music, the moment. It's all like he lived in this trailer park. He knew he needed to get out of that. He can't die there. And rap was the only way he could do that. Okay? Beginning. Pretty straightforward. And after the beginning, by the way, into the beginning you can also add like wishes, dreams that are distant, dreams that were far away, that seemed impossible. So it's a really dire situation that you're in the beginning. And then we get to part number two. Part number two is the decision plus rock bottom. Rock bottom often helps because even though you were already in this dire situation, it got even worse. That was the straw that broke the camel's back. Great example was Marcel with his story as well. What was his straw that broke the camel's back? His dog's dying. Usually that's how life works. It's like one shitty situation that induces so much pain in us, so much suffering in us, that out of that suffering and pain we make the decision, we gotta get out of there. We can no longer take it. We're at fucking rock bottom. It cannot get any worse. I'm making the decision. This is the moment in movies that are really, really powerful and emotional. This is the moment in movies that precedes the highlight reel of the working out. This is Rocky losing against Apollo Creed for the first time. Remember that? Remember fucking Rocky? Am I the only one? Who remembers Rocky with Sylvester Stallone? Okay, all the old schoolers. He loses first, right? He loses against Apollo Creed. I think it was Apollo Creed that he loses against, right? That's him, rock bottom. And then he makes the decision. He's like, I'm going to train harder than ever before. That's where you make a decision to change, to take control over your life. Why does this resonate so much with us? A, because we've all been at fucking rock bottom. And a lot of us have endured that rock bottom, and we did not get out of it yet. So when the main character, aka the person whose hero story we're talking about, does make that decision, we get inspired as fuck by that. We're like, here's a person who did not just take the beating. Here's a person that did not just let their security guards drag them off stage to where they're safe. Here's a person who decides to take the challenge, plow through and raise their fists in the air saying, fight, fight, fight. That is a narrative that we all want to see. Every single good fucking movie has the rock bottom and the decision part ingrained in it. That's why we love fucking movies with this. Make sense? Make sense so far? Great. Now stage number 3 is very simple, work. That's where you're getting to work. I was overweight my entire life. I've always been bullied. My parents were overweight as well until my mom died of a heart attack because she was as fat as I am. So I made the decision, I'm going to change that. I will not die of a heart attack and leave my future kids alone. I'm going to get to work. So I started eating clean. I started exercising. I started going on a fucking 30-second run every day, just as much as my body could carry. I got to work. And after 6 months, I finally started seeing results. In my personal hero story, I was always shy and awkward, if you remember that. Never had a girlfriend, was always the weird kid that nobody, wanted to invite to a party. So I made a decision, once I found my brother's book, that you can actually change. I made a decision, I'm going to change. I'm going to study this book on how to talk to girls, and I'm going to finally get out of my shell and get a cute girlfriend that actually loves me. Made that decision. So what followed after that decision was I talked to every single attractive person that I could see. I talked to every person that sat down next to me to lecture at university. I would never take my own stupid excuses I would never allow myself not to take action. I would go out, I would go to the stupid date where I was there 4 hours too early, and then I was scared that the girl would see me waiting there for her being all needy, and that's why I went back to the metro station and hid behind a fucking pillar for 4 hours until it was time to go to the date, and then I would have 8 coffees before I developed the balls to go kiss her. That right there is the work, all right? And guess what? The work is not just gonna... Whoa, did I just blow the thing out? What? Oh, get down, get down. I was actually went down. What I was saying is... The microphone died? No, it's back. What I was saying is the work is not going to just start at the bottom and it's going to go up. It usually peaks and valleys, right? You'll have setbacks. You'll have moments where you will doubt yourself. But it's all just work, 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 work until you get to position number 4, which is what? Anybody can guess?
New rock bottom.
Sure, new rock bottom can happen. Like I said, it can go up and down for sure. Usually, to keep it really simple, is that's the win. That's paradise. That's your heaven. Oh, that's an E. That's simply speaking the end result that you have desired, the end result that you made a decision you will reach. And then you can add a 5th point, especially if you're someone that has a personal brand, if you want to be a coach, if you want to inspire people, right? That's then helping others. Right? You have the end result and you say, I was so inspired by that. I was so happy that I could dig myself out of poverty. I was so happy that I dug myself out of being overweight that I decided I'm going to be the person who helps others. The way I often talked about this in my dating business back in the days is I always said it like this. When I was fucking 20 years old, getting rejected over and over again, getting my hopes up, maybe that girl is going to go on a date with me, and every time they wouldn't show up, I swore to myself, as I was crying myself to sleep, I swore to myself that if I ever figure that shit out and become confident and cool with women, I'm going to be the guy who helps the next guy out. I'm going to be the guy that I wish I had by my side, that took the others by the hand and showed them the way to the promised land. If I ever manage to climb up that hill, to climb up to the top of that mountain, I'm going to for sure enjoy the view, but the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to turn around, extend my arm, and help the next guy up. Because like that, you're part of an upward spiral. Like that, you're making the world a tiny little bit of a better place. And when you manage to lay out that hero story properly, you touch people's hearts. You will have them emotionally involved in your brand, in your product, in your content. You will have people reaching out to you saying, I watched your latest piece of content, I cried. Please take my money. Can I please check out your book? Can I please buy your course? Can I please buy your product? My cat needs that food. My cat I want the cat to be like your cat Lily. It inspires the living hell out of me. I want my mom to go see Elton John. I want my dad to drive to Portugal in a Porsche 911 with me. I want that. 1 second. We'll get to your questions in a second, guys. Now, what does the hero story not include? My certificates. The hero story does not include how many years I went to college for this fucking thing. It does not include numbers. You can include numbers, but it doesn't need to. It includes emotions. It includes a hero story that people can resonate with. It creates a need that is insatiable in the viewer and the person that is exposed to this fucking story, because they want to be like you. Right? That is on a macro level. We're going to talk about the micro level in a second. So the micro level is all about the emotions and the situations that you describe up here, and then also how you speak about these. We're going to get this in a second. First, any questions about this concept so far?
Where do you put paradise heaven? By at will or helping others?
4, number 4. So you reach the paradise, the heaven. I should have really written this more nicely. First you get the win, you reach your own personal paradise, you heaven, and because you're in paradise, instead of just enjoying it yourself, you turn around and you pull other people in. Yes?
You might answer this in the micro, but if there's
Just speak up. Just be loud enough. I'll translate.
All right. So if there's a first, a beginning, a rock bottom decision, and then the work, and then within the work, there's like the weight is almost in sight, and then everything falls. There's an even worse rock bottom for the next version of work. Do you layer that in, or do you pick one that's the main?
You can layer that in for sure. Layer that in. You can absolutely. So his question was like, if I'm in the work stage, and instead of it kind of like going up like this, like naturally, I reach new rock bottoms, and there's other shit. That's totally fine, as long as eventually, obviously, it will go up, right?
It's like there's a peak and then it crashes.
Peak valleys, that's totally fine. Okay. Totally fine. That's the artist whose first concert flopped. That's the athlete that got injured just before they won the championship and they had to rebuild it up. Great hero story, by the way, Lewis Hamilton. Anybody watch this Formula One? He got robbed of his 8th title when they gave it to Max Verstappen, when they let the safety car not let all the cars between him and Max through, and Max had new tires because it was a red flag at the second to last lap, even though Lewis was leading the entire fucking Grand Prix. Yeah, he got robbed. But guess what? Then he started sucking for 3 years in a Mercedes that couldn't handle the new rules that they made. So the Mercedes that he drove for just was really shitty for 3 years, and he suffered from that mentally. And now he went to Ferrari. Like, just for the sake of hero story, I hope he's gonna win his 8th title, because that sounds way, way, way cooler than just him winning the 8th title against Max. Yeah.
I've always heard in marketing, this might be shitty advice, but I've also heard that you want to make your audience, your customers, the hero, not yourself.
You want to make your audience what?
Yeah, you want to make your customers the hero, you want to make your audience the hero of their story, as opposed to make yourself awesome.
Absolutely. We're going to talk about this in the micro. Very sick that you brought that up. Any other questions? Or are we going to head to the micro? Yes, my man.
How directly does your hero story have to relate to your niche? Like in your example, it had more to do with dating. Now you're doing branding and technology. So it's a little bit like, does it have to be perfectly?
If you can, yes. Ideally, yes. I mean, again, like if I would give you the business hero story, which I actually did in the free event 2 days ago, I would focus a little less on the confidence with women part. I would focus more on the financial side of things. Like, hey dude, I was so fucking poor when I started working on my first business. I, in fact, this is a true story, another funny true story, I in fact couldn't go to the nightclubs to go meet women because it was 12 euros entry fee. I didn't have 12 fucking euros, but you could get in for free if you showed up before 7. So we would go there at 7 p.m., me and my broke friends, and we would just linger around for 4 hours, because in Europe, like, the nightclubs don't really pop until it's like 11 or midnight. So we would just linger around there to save 12 fucking euros until the girls would be there, and then we would start talking to them. In fact, I was so broke, like when I met a girl there that I was excited to be spending more time with, I couldn't afford a cab. Just couldn't afford it. So what I had to do is either like somehow have her pay for it, which is really awkward upon the first meeting, like oh, I forgot my wallet. Or like, I got my wallet upstairs. Or just take the metro. Just take the fucking subway. And I've had multiple times like have a guy steal the girl in the metro. A friend of mine had it that he took the girl in the metro and was excited, and then a homeless guy died in front of him. He was in the metro and he passed out and OD'd or something, and then of course the girl went home and he's like, God damn it, cock blocking homeless guy. So yeah, I would tell stories like this, right? And I'm like, oh, I was so broke, I couldn't afford the shoes, which is again, like my shoes had holes in them for the longest time. My feet were wet for like 6 fucking months. Every time there was like it was wet on the floor, my feet were gonna be wet, and I was malnourished. And there's actually another really interesting, crazy story. Like I worked so hard on my brand that my mom, this is a true story, my mom, I saw a message from her on WhatsApp. And I was so busy just grinding. I'm gonna reply later. It's just my mom, right? She's gonna be like, hey, what's up? How are you? We miss you. I reply to that later, right? Fuck it. And I think 6 days later, I look at the message and it's like, hey, I'm in the hospital, my heart. 6 days later, I see that fucking message. And I'm like instantly panic, freaking the fuck out. And I call my mom, she doesn't pick up. And I call her again, she doesn't pick up. And I'm just like, what if my mom would have liked to talk to me one last time and I fucking missed that? So I call my sister and I'm like, what happened? And she's like, well, listen, hey, mom's all right. what happened was she had a pericarditis, or what it's called. The muscle around her heart got infected, and she felt really tired. And she went to our doctor in my 5,000 people cow town. So not a specialist, just a random fucking intern doctor. She goes there and the doctor said, you have to go to the hospital right now or you might die today. She went to the hospital and they're like, gave her all the antibiotics and she survived, but she could have almost fucking died because I was so focused on fucking making money. That's what poverty did to me. Poverty almost made me lose my mother. It's again a true fucking story. Don't make shit up, guys. Like, I'm not advocating for making stories up so people like you more. I'm basically advocating for, like, if you have stories like these embedded in there, talk about it. And by the way, funny enough, long story short, that was 2015 or 14 or something like that. So my mom had to drastically change her lifestyle. She couldn't eat any inflammatory food anymore. She basically just had to eat fish, fruit, vegetables and meat. She couldn't eat anything else anymore because the doctor said, you're going to have this for the rest of your life. If you don't fix your lifestyle, you're going to die. And around Christmas, when I was at home, she went to the doctor again. She got diagnosed with 0. They're like, whatever you did, fixed it. We've never seen this before. She's completely well again. She's crushing it. She's walking and love it. My mom's fucking crushing it. So really, really happy about that. And that's the kind of shit that poverty could make you fuck up, you know? So that's what I would have focused on more if my hero story was more about that. So implement the things that you've been through as long as they fit to your journey, so to speak. We have one more question? Yeah.
So when you talk about telling your beginning and your hero story going through, would you put your beginning all in one capsule, or would you break that up into different content for people to kind of put together for you? How would you shape that?
You're asking if I would have a piece of content where I would only talk about my beginning, or whether I would split it up into several pieces of content?
You talk about sprinkling it across different,
yeah,
short form, long form.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you tell your beginning story all in one piece, or would you break that apart so people have to go to different places?
Yeah.
Sequentially to see it.
I gotcha. Very good question. Thanks for bringing it up. I get that question a lot. So his question also for the folks on Zoom, for the Zoom people, his question was, do I need to make one piece of content where I fit all that in? Or do I sprinkle it out? But if I sprinkle it out, then people have to like fucking piece it together. It's not like that. The hero story of yours is something that you mention over and over and over and over again. Not crazily in every single piece of content, right? Like you want to make a 15-second video. Oh, I gotta squeeze up my hero story in 3 seconds. I'm saying this is something that you can repeat over and over again. Just like in my free speech on the free event, I went through the entire hero story. And then in my paid event, at the paid event here yesterday, I briefly touched upon it again, right? Then maybe you're gonna watch one of my podcasts and the guest that I'm talking to here talks about growing up in LA, and then I sprinkle in, oh, by the way, when I first came to LA, I was so broke, because remember, I was an unpaid intern there. It's like I always sprinkle these things in. You don't have to mention it you don't have to mention it every time, but it's something that you always kind of want to touch back on, okay? So I could, for example, make a piece of content where I say, the 5 most important lessons about being an entrepreneur, and then in lesson 3 I touch upon how my dad was actually the person that empowered me to go on my journey to become an unpaid intern when I first started, right? You can always pick out small mini parts, small pieces of the entire pie that you can sprinkle in, small mini stories of the greater story, or sometimes you tell the entire greater story, or sometimes you just talk about only the beginning, or only the work part, or only the paradise part. This is something that is like a recurring theme. This is something like the chorus of a song that always pops up every now and then. All right? Now, let's talk about the micro in this regard as well. There was one, someone always has an alarm pop up. There's a couple things. What did I say earlier when I said this is going to go into the micro? I think you?
Training your customers.
Oh yeah, exactly. When it comes to the micro, his question earlier was like, but I hear all the time, Max, that it shouldn't just be about you. It should actually be about your clients or your ideal client avatar's journey. And that's absolutely a good point. Because there's a right way to talk about the hero story and there's a wrong way to talk about the hero story. The wrong way to talk about the hero story is to make it only and exclusively about you. Me, I was there, I was hurt, I wanted to work hard, I wanted to get there, and so on and so forth. That's not the best way to talk about it. But at the same time, you also need to give people the information about you because ultimately they should resonate with you, right? So you can't only make it only about them either. So what do? You link these two together. So when I say things like, hey, I grew up in a poor fucking country, well, not in a poor country, Austria's a rich country, but in a poor fucking place, and I was really mad because my parents didn't come from a wealthy background, and maybe you can resonate with that. Maybe your parents weren't rich either, and maybe you also often think back to your parents and think how much you love them and how much you want to give back to them. And so it was the case for me. I sat in my children's room that I had to share with my sister, and I said, my dad's not going to be fine for the rest of his life. I want to make sure that my dad is proud of me. These are all concepts that everybody can resonate with. In fact, just as I told the story, I saw at least 3 of you nod. You know, when you do public speaking and people nodding, you know you just said something that they resonate with. It's really good. Does that make sense? So when you talk about yourself, you always want to bridge you. I'm going to make a bridge here. I'm so bad with it. You want to bridge you and them. Okay? You always want to bridge that. How do you bridge you and them? By saying things like, maybe you can resonate with that. Or you say things like, how would you feel in that situation? Imagine you're sitting there and your crush, the person that you've loved the most, is going to blatantly say into your face, let's just be friends. What would you feel like when that happened? People are like, damn, that's totally me. So that brings me to the second point. I'm so bad with writing. Pain points. Super important. If you want your audience to resonate with your hero story so they can feel your emotions and feel the connection between you, it lives and dies with how well you can define those pain points, right? When I said the word, let's just be friends, that hit so hard because it's the exact wording that you have probably heard when your crush rejected you. Right? Who here has ever heard the words, let's just be friends? That hits really fucking hard. But if I would have said, whatever, the person rejected me because they didn't want to have a sexual relationship with me, you will resonate less with that because that's not the wording that you hear. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay, perfect. The better you will know the pain points of your audience, the inner monologue, the words that they're describing, the more people will resonate with you. This is an NLP concept called mirroring. So when you, for example, go to the comment section of your video and you look at the highest comment, the comment with the most likes, with the most engagement, that's usually the pain point that your audience resonates with the most. I'll give you a great example. Let's say you have a fitness product, okay? Your fitness product is protein pancakes. You want to sell your little protein pancakes. A good friend of mine sells this, by the way. His name is Rob Lipset. Let's say you want to sell your protein pancakes. So you make a really cool video about how you use your protein pancake powder, and you create the pancakes and you cook them and then you eat them and you're like, they only have 150 calories and they got 25 grams of protein. Go check out my protein pancakes right now. Tap the link in the bio or comment protein down below and I'll send you the fucking link, right? Let's say you create this piece of content and then a day later you check the comment section. And there's a comment, you can literally sort the comment by the most relevant comment. There's a comment at the top that has gotten whatever, 50 likes. And that comment said, man, these pancakes sure look good, but ain't nobody got time to cook these fucking pancakes when you come home from your 9-to-5 job and you're tired. And there's 50 likes on that fucking comment. meaning there's at least 50 other people who agree with that person. You now know that the pain point is what? Time. So what are you going to do next time you talk about your motherfucking protein pancakes? How easy it is. It only takes 30 seconds to make these stupid pancakes. Maybe you even sprinkle it into your hero story. I remember when I came home from my second full-time job on that day, and I just felt like a fat piece of shit, and I knew I needed to crack my macros, and I just couldn't order Wolt or Uber Eats again, because I always eat the fucking fried chicken burgers. And I remember, if only there was a way where I could make something healthy and nutritious within 30 fucking seconds, I knew I could finally get that beach body. I could finally get that six-pack. You see, beach body, six-pack. I use the exact words that I hear over and over again. So next thing you know, I had an idea. I had this beautiful idea, aka the decision, right? That I'm gonna make protein pancakes that help me help other people get in shape as well. Because after 6 months of using that and trying out 15 different recipes that didn't work, I finally found a way that I could cook healthy and get in shape. And once I had that fucking six-pack, and my girlfriend said, "Wow, baby, you look great today." It's again, female approval, another great pain point if you're into fitness. I was so excited about that I said, this is going to change a lot of people's lives. And instead of just keeping that for myself, I said, I'm going to put this out into the world and help other people. Buy my fucking protein pancakes. Now you have a story. Now it's not just a product, it's a story, because I talked about the pain points so perfectly. So when it comes to the pain points, you can further divide that into the exact wording, right? Literally, listen to the words. This is literal NLP stuff. It's exactly the same kind of stuff that you do when you get hypnotized or when you hypnotize someone else. You hit them with your words. Words are the most powerful tool we humans have. We're not the strongest animal on earth. We're one of the best collaboration working animal on earth, like ants, but we can use words. That's our single most powerful tool at our disposal. That's a great thing that civilization has brought with it, us wording. And on top of the wording, you also want to make sure, again, oops, where are we here? That you tie the pain points back to any of these parts, okay? The decision, the work, the win, the helping others. So I would call it like connection to the greater hero story. Does that make sense in terms of the pain points? Boom. Pretty straightforward. Now, the next point here that I want to elaborate on is kind of like a simple structure. I want to make it really easy for you all, especially if you're not charismatic, if you're not creative, if you're not good with words naturally. I'm going to give you the exact structure here to make any hero story great. I'm going to give you two examples. One is really shitty, one is really good. And we're going to vote which one is better, and then I'm going to explain to you why it is better. In 2010, I went on a trip with my friends to Croatia. We took my mom's car, we drove 8 hours through the middle of nowhere, all the way through Austria, till we landed in Croatia. We stayed there for 3 days. It was a great vacation. That's example one. Now I'm going to tell you the same story using the following structure. In 2010, I spontaneously decided with my two best friends to go on a trip to Croatia. So we borrowed my mom's car and we drove 8 hours through the desert. And I'll never forget the first moment I saw the Mediterranean Sea. In fact, after 8 hours of grueling drive in my mom's shitty little smart car, I saw as the water came up over the horizon. And I asked my friend, what is that? And he said, that's the Mediterranean Sea, bro. And the sea was soaked in orange. Get that. It was exactly at that moment where the sun was going down above the horizon, and the entire sea was soaked in orange because the sunset colors were reflected in the sea. So I rolled down the window, and my favorite song came up on the radio. It was Baba O'Reilly by The Who. And for the first time in my young life, I was 20 years old, I felt that freedom. that feeling of freedom, that there's an entire whole wild world out there that is ready for me to be discovered and conquered. And that was my Croatia trip. Who here liked the first version of this story? Hands up. One guy's like, I liked it. Who here liked the second version of the story better? Pretty much everybody. Now, I'm going to break down what makes you resonate with that story in really stupid, simple ways. And this is, by the way, a concept I used to teach in dating. I'm teaching it to you now in terms of marketing, but we literally use this concept in storytelling when we were on a date. I would literally tell these young guys, like, hey, when you're on a date, every story you tell, just follow this fucking structure, and every girl will love you. Number one, well, the basic structure is it's not about what you say, it's about how you say it. Right? That's the basic credo of it. I could talk about something super fucking boring, but if I talk about it in the right way, it sounds really cool. Anyways, the first thing is, how would I describe it? Talk about what you see. There should be like an empty space in there. I'm so used to typing, it's weird. Talk about what you see. What did I describe to you? Just yell out the words. Overview, orange sunset, the horizon, spontaneity. Spontaneity does not fit to what you see, it fits to a separate point, but we'll get there in a second. Right? I call this paint pictures in their head. Paint pictures in their head. Emotions, we're going to get to that. That's actually the third point. Very good thinking already. Shout out. Second thing, what you hear. Or also how I call it, write songs in their head. What did I describe what I heard? The Who, Bob O'Reilly, my favorite song. Sometimes in the story I also mentioned things like I heard the birds, right? Like the seagulls that were flying around the car. I heard the wind rush from the drive. I could have elaborated that a little bit more, but that's the second point, what you hear. And the third point now, two folks have already said it, what you feel. This one's the most important one. But that alone, if you just talk about a story and you have what you feel in there, it often goes over people's heads because you need to paint pictures in their head and write songs in their head first, and then it hits the most, right? I didn't say, hey, we drove down to Croatia and I felt free. Better than nothing, but it's not going to hit. But when I say we drove down to Croatia and I saw the fucking ocean and the orange of the sunset being reflected in the ocean, and then I heard my favorite song and the seagulls outside, and that made me feel very free, now I hit it really hard. Does that make sense? Yeah. Talk about what you see, talk about what you hear, talk about what you feel. That structure in and of itself makes any fucking story great. Any fucking story. I had a student once in my dating coaching times, he was a complete fucking nerd. He had a doctor's degree in mathematics, okay? Sometimes I have students and they have cool hobbies. They're like, I fly airplanes, I do scuba diving, I'm a fucking athlete. I'm like, this is easy, okay? Then I have guys, I'm like, what's your hobby? They're like, I like mathematics. And I'm like, do you think that's attractive? They're like, no. And I'm like, you know what? It fucking is. Here's how you talk about mathematics if you're on a date, okay? Anybody who's into mathematics, listen up. Any loners here that like mathematics? Okay. It's like, you know why I got into mathematics? Because my entire life has been chaotic. I come from a chaotic household. I come from a chaotic parentship. I didn't really know what to do with my life until I discovered mathematics. So you know what? The first time I realized that mathematics is my key to happiness was I stared down at a paper full of equations. And I looked at the numbers. And I knew that each and every equation makes sense to me. And even though I was sitting there in complete silence, I felt peace. And I realized mathematics is peace. You talk about fucking mathematics like this, the girl is like, I love mathematics. Tell me more about that. If you can talk about mathematics with this structure, you can talk about fucking anything and it's going to be interesting. And now to go full circle, when you talk about your hero story, talk about these things. Use that structure. Make sure you use the wording of your audience to bridge you versus them. So these things here are the exact bridge that helps people that listen to your content to resonate with you. That's the hero story. Make sense so far? Yes. Questions?
How did you had a good hook for the mathematics story that actually made me want to? What'd you say? Like, do you know what I love about mathematics?
Say it again?
How did you had a good hook. What was your hook for the math story?
I literally don't remember. Watch the recording when it comes up. I'm sorry. That's the thing too. Is like I come up with this on the spot so much because this has been it's in my blood now that like I can't even remember.
Okay, let me ask that differently. If you're gonna, how do you set a good hook for a story so people want to pay attention? Because all the stuff yesterday.
So his question is very good. He said, "How do I set up a hook for a story, whether it's the hero story or a smaller mini story, that makes people want to pay attention?" It's exactly the same rules that we have for any short form video content. The hook, which is you can say something provocative, a provocative statement. You can ask an interesting question. I think that's how I just described the mathematics story. It's like, do you know why I got into mathematics or something like that? You can give an interesting fact, for example, like, did you know that 95% of people that are into mathematics are virgins? Right? Or that 95% of women that date mathematicians are happy with their sex life. Like that's an interesting fact, for example. Did you know that Albert Einstein was a well-known passionate lover according to the 4 women that he met? You know, something like that, right? Like that's an interesting fact. Or you can make a provocative statement saying, mathematicians are the best sexual partners. Mathematicians can make you come like nobody else, right? I'm like, wait, what? And then you're like, yeah, well, when I did it, and now you go elaborate on your, you elaborate on your hero story. So the rules of a hook apply just as well. Yeah?
On a good one is negative hook.
Negative hook works as well. Yeah, good, very good point. Thanks. It's like, did you know that like most mathematicians are the worst people on earth? Something like that. Or did you know that like Stalin was a mathematician? Like I don't know, like random things like that. Anybody else? Yeah, question?
So I may be wrong, but usually when I see like there's different ways of like these hero stories. So like I'm a musician, so like let's say for example you have Billie Eilish. You know, she was like in a small home, she was in a garage, she was in a little small room. And then maybe have like One Direction, like oh yeah, they work at a bakery, they're just trying to achieve this dream. So usually that comes when you're already like in front or have already like building that huge momentum. So how do you do that for like when you're having to specifically build that momentum just yet, but like you still want to like put it out there?
I don't quite understand. So you're saying like, what if I don't have a brand yet, like Billie Eilish as a musician?
Well, no, like usually like if you hear these stories like once they're like already like pretty big.
Oh no. It's a very good point that you brought up. He says like usually you only hear these hero stories once people are already big. That's a very interesting perception because that's how you perceived it. They probably talk about their hero story the whole fucking time already. They probably talked about their hero story when they had their first gig in front of their mom and their best friends. You just didn't know about it. In fact, there's a very funny story about that. There's a very funny story about that. When I first built my first business, when I built my second business after the dating advice business, teaching people how to start, I had a lot of content out there that said, hey, when you first start, you don't need a big brand, which is true. Just reach out to people, you can already make your first 10K a month. And I got a lot of angry comments from fucking haters saying, Max Tornow is a scam because he didn't build his brand like that. He built his brand by making YouTube videos, and then he made millions of dollars. I'm like, well, that's how you fucking know me, because of course you didn't fucking know me when I didn't have a brand, because how would you? Right? So they thought like, oh, well, I know Max from his big brand, ergo he always had one, which kind of doesn't make sense, right? So I'm pretty sure they had the hero story already about themselves anyways. That might even be a contributing factor as to why they got famous in the first place. And you brought up a very cool point here, by the way. What if I don't have this fucking huge pain point? Right? What if I don't come from a poor family? What the fuck do I do then? Poor me, right? Like, I grew up in a fucking rich family. Everything was peachy. That fucking sucks, right? Well, the thing here is, you can still absolutely use this to your advantage. You just need to frame it right. In fact, one of my mentors, I dropped $25,000 on him, I think last year. And he's an Instagram copywriter, a great guy. His name is Jeremy Moser from Switzerland. This guy grew up in fucking Switzerland with rich fucking parents, like in Switzerland, the richest country on earth. So his hero story is literally like, hey, don't you know all these fucking fake gurus? They all have the same fucking story, how they came from fucking nothing. All I had to my name was fucking 3 corns of rice and a dog with 1 leg. Yeah, you know what? Fuck these motherfuckers. It's all made up shit. I come from a fucking rich family. My dad made fucking millions already. And you know what? That's totally fine, because it didn't keep me from fucking executing and doing the things that I really am passionate about, which is helping my clients. The same, you can package it in any fucking way. You just gotta be smart about it. So the hero story journey that I laid out here is a very standard, a pretty straightforward hero story, because it's kind of easy, right? If you've been through a lot of shit, it's easy to leverage that. If you haven't been from a lot of shit, you can still leverage it by just explaining it in a proper way.
Thank you.
Yep. Questions? Folks, guys, if you need to chat too much, these 2 guys, can someone tap them? If you feel free to chat, but do it outside, please. Thank you. Any other questions? Cool. No, yeah.
So, I think I mentioned yesterday we have like some experience in these businesses. So I feel like this factors really well for like products and services, coaching. But what about like experience businesses where you're trying to like push luxury services, or luxury experiences? Like how would you work in that like hero story for that?
Love it. So his question was for the folks on Zoom. What if I a hero? What does my hero story look like if I have more of a service-based business? For example, a luxury service, experience-based luxury service. So my question for you is, what made you get into this business in the first place?
You're asking me?
Yeah. And by the way, can I get a chair? Can someone just give me? I'm tired of standing. Thank you guys. So what made you get into that?
So I think what got me into it is seeing a lot of my friends had a bunch of money, and I saw them do a bunch of cool stuff. So I wanted to go and bring a bunch of friends together to give the business a lifestyle.
It's a very beautiful hero story right there. So for the folks who couldn't hear him, he's like, the reason why I got into this business is because I had a lot of friends who had money, and I looked at these people and they were living life, and I'm like, how can I get as many of my friends together and have that experience as well, right? So you can literally turn that with this exact hero story framework, you can turn that into this as well. And even if you say, hold on a second, Max, but I don't even want this to be about me. I have a faceless brand. This shouldn't be about me as a faceless thing. This should just be like about the experience itself. Now, instead of you can, instead of you having to bridge the gap between you and them, you just make it about them in the first place. So I would actually create a hero story journey about them right away, and I say, do you often scroll through Instagram and you see people living the life that you would like to have? You see the girls, the yachts, the jet skis, the sunshine, and here you are sitting in your fucking shitty cubicle work, in your cubicle job, and you're looking at this, and all you have planned for Friday is order takeout pizza and watch fucking Netflix, when in reality you know that there's a whole wide world out there of people just like you living it up. They might also work in a 9 to 5, but on the weekends they have the experience of a lifetime, and by the time you come back on Monday, you're energized, you're motivated, you're ready to crush it like again at your work. Well, guess what? Buy my shit and you'll see I mean, not like that, but like, guess what? There is a world out there. And you can even, one other thing that I could add here, by the way, is you could put where do I have space? I'm just going to add it down here. Enemies. That's very, very powerful to use as well. Guess what? Society doesn't want you to step up. Society wants you to believe that the rich lifestyle with the yachts and the girls and the sunshine is not for you. Society wants you to rot away in your fucking cubicle, so you build their fucking houses, so you create their fucking economy, so that the rich elite can enjoy the fucking life. But deep down inside, you know that that's not true. Deep down inside, you're sick and tired of the lies that you've been fed for all these years. And you know that there's a life outside of your cubicle. You know that there's a life out there where you can enjoy the girls, the sunshine, the jet skis without having to be rich. And it has become our mission to give the average Joe that life. It's become our mission to make the world a tiny little bit better of a place by showing you that there's a life beyond the cubicle. So now I made it about them fully, completely. I didn't even need to bridge the gap. And I added a common enemy to it, which you can always do, right? One sec. A great common enemy if you're into fitness is, by the way, the food industry. Food industry wants you to be addicted to sugar so it can keep selling you fucking pharmaceuticals. Make sense?
That's powerful. Now, when you're doing it with that kind of story, you're making it about them, are you putting that more so like in an ad, or are you putting that more like a short form content that's going to go viral?
His question is like, do I put this in an ad or do I put it in a short form video that then goes viral? The answer is both. It depends. If you say, look, we're making 100K a month and I don't need to pay myself out everything, I have 10K per month that I could just blow on ads, create an ad right away. Test shit out. If 10K is gone and it doesn't hurt you, that's cool. Just keep testing. That's what we're doing right now. We always have like a couple thousand a day that I just blow on random ads that are never going to yield anything. If you don't have that, then test it out on free content first, because I can't afford blowing thousands of dollars to test ads, so I'm just going to literally test it for free by posting social media content, and if I see one performing well, I'm like, cool, let's turn that into an ad.
So do something like this, is it more effective, you think, to do it from like a personal account, that has like its own personal brand, or from like a business account that's like more event-based?
That doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Do it from the account that you want to eventually thrive. If you already have an account with like 2,000 followers, 5,000 followers, full of people that are more or less in your audience, test it for them, because those are the people that you want to react to. So if you post a content there with like 2,000 followers and it underperforms, you know that your followers, aka your potential clientele, does not resonate with it. If you, however, this is an important little nuance, if you really believe in it and you're like, I know this piece of content is really fucking good, it is exactly what my audience wants, it could be that it's just the hook in the beginning that kind of doesn't resonate with people. In that case, you can keep testing that exact same piece of content, but you test out different hooks. There's a great example, I think, one second. I saw that once. It was a viral reel that someone posted twice, and it was literally, I'm trying to, because I can't show it, I didn't save it. But picture it like this. It showed a couple, it was a drone shot of a car driving through a beautiful nature forest. There was like a winding road, right? Had cool music, and it was a very beautiful landscape shot. And the first time they posted that reel, it got like 3,000 views. And it was just like driving through Alaska, check out the view, right? That was a decent hook, I guess. Good visual hook for sure, but the text hook was kind of meh. And then those people decided to test out a different hook, and it was like POV, you and your boyfriend decided to quit your 9-to-5s and finally go on that Alaska trip you've always dreamed of. And that made that reel fucking blow up with like whatever, 16 million views or something like that. Because they thought like the content is really good, it's gotta work, they just exchanged the hook. And on a side note, why did that hook work so much better? Because it's a story, right? Instead of, hey, we're driving through Alaska, we're like, hey, I convinced my partner to finally go to that long-awaited trip through Alaska. It's still only one sentence, but that sentence is much more story heavy. It has a story of a partner, boyfriend and girlfriend, husband and wife, whatever. And it has the element of the story of like, we finally quit our 9-to-5s. It resonates so hard with the average person. Who here has ever thought at least once to maybe like quit their job and just go on a world tour, like in a fucking bus or something, you know? We all have that dream within us. We could really resonate with that much more than like Alaska trip. And it might not even be true, you know? Those two people didn't actually quit their fucking jobs, you know? It's just the footage of a fucking car drive. Maybe it was like a person that lives there, you know? like they just took the footage. But it's a great example of how different hooks can tell, different stories. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, man. You had another question?
Yeah. How do you do this if your story experience is So how do you do this if your story is valuable and respectable but not relatable to a lot of people?
Why wouldn't it be relatable to a lot of people? What's your story?
Joined the military, went through Navy SEAL training, brain injury, coma, didn't have to walk and talk, some other crazy recovery shit. So I have a cool skill set from it. And a lot of people think, oh shit, it's inspiring as fuck, but most people aren't in the military, most people haven't.
I hear you.
So how do I make that relatable and powerful?
I hear you. It's all about bridging that gap between you and them. It's actually even better if you have an extra crazy story. Sorry, for the folks on Zoom, he said, like, what do I do if my story is basically too crazy for the average person to resonate with? Because you joined the Navy SEALs, by the way, thank you for your service, man. Joined the Navy SEALs and had coma, brain injury, and then had to recover from that, and now you're here. Like, the average person doesn't fucking do that, you know? Thank God. They don't have to go through that shit. So in this case, I see that as an advantage because your story is even crazier. Now, you have to focus as you're telling that story to bridge that gap though and say, how would you feel? Imagine you woke up, you have no clue where you are, there's a doctor that you've never seen before, and they lean over the bed and say, you've been in a coma for the last 6 months. How would you feel? How would your mother feel when she gets that phone call? Now I'm thinking about my mom. How would you feel? What's the first question you asked when you woke up? Yeah, exactly. It's like you would probably ask, why are you here? You would probably ask about your girlfriend, your kids. Now I'm fucking in that situation myself, and I'm gonna start crying.
Okay, so I'm gonna paint that picture. I'm gonna put the audience in my story.
Exactly. Okay. Put the audience in your shoes with that, and then you can even say things like, maybe you didn't wake up from a coma. Maybe your coma was a very harsh breakup that you couldn't go through. Maybe it was your parents getting divorced. Maybe it's you losing your job during COVID. We all have our coma story within us. And whether it is a literal coma or a metaphorical coma, we all need to learn how to accept our situation and make the best out of it, how to play the cards that we've been dealt with. You bridge the gap between you and them. Yeah. Any other question? We have a lot of time, folks. You can ask me about this. You can ask me about something else. That was kind of like the main point I wanted to come across here today. It's very, very, very important to realize that this storytelling, because with this storytelling, folks, I'll tell you one thing. I'll tell you a story about storytelling. This fucking structure here has made me millions, literally. I've had people come, I had this program, my first digital product called The Natural, all right? My first digital product called The Natural. It had I think it was a 6-minute video ad where I would just go to this exact hero story. I had people coming up to me fucking 10 years later saying, Max, you had that fucking ad about your first digital product called The Natural. I cried when I first saw it. 10 fucking years later. I have people coming up to me now saying, hey, I have kids. And I'm like, cool. They're like, I got these kids because I saw that ad and it hit me so hard that I then bought the program, started learning how to talk to girls, and I found my wife now, and now I have 2 kids. Like, my kids wouldn't be alive if it hadn't been for that ad. And that ad was me saying, it started with the words, you know, I've never really been the guy who was good with women, who was outgoing and witty, something along those lines. Right? So again, I started it out with the pain points. I've never really been that guy, because that's the exact wording my audience used to have. Hey, I'm not really that guy. I'm not really good with women. And then I would elaborate, I would say, sometimes on my way home, I would drive past the nightclubs, and I would see people waiting outside. I would see beautiful women in their cocktail dress. I would see guys looking sharp, looking handsome, ready to party. And I just looked at these people, and I'm like, I can't be these. I'm not that kind of guy. I was on my way home. I was going to watch The Lord of the Rings, play some video games, and then go to bed feeling lonely. And all these cool people were there, but I wasn't cool. Right? That again speaks to my audience very, very hard. So this kind of stuff can make you a lot of money. But guess what? Because what the first thing was when I met my girlfriend for the first time. In fact, I told her that exact story about going to Croatia. Why is this so important? Because especially women, they think they experience in emotions. We men experience in emotions as well, but not as much as women. As women, it's all about fucking emotions. So for example, if you would ask your guy friend, if you talk to your guy friend and he said, how was that movie yesterday? You're like, oh, it was great. Arnold Schwarzenegger, I heard it's a $20 million budget. It's about this guy who needs to get the Turbo Man doll for his son for Christmas. If you would tell this to a girl, you'd be like, it's about this dad that wants to make his son happy, and his son wants that doll. stupid Superman doll more than anything else. And when I watched that movie, I felt so inspired that someone could go above and beyond for someone that they love. It's a great movie by Arnold Schwarzenegger. You should check it out. In fact, I have that movie at home, I think. We should watch it later. No, I was just kidding. But again, it's true. Yeah, has a guy done that for you? It's like, I have the movie at home. Is that how you guys met? Did you tell her? Okay, that would be so. Oh, you met here. Okay, you guys look like a couple already. Just so you know, I'm not gonna instigate anything.
We stared into each other's eyes earlier.
Oh, that's it. That is it. Yeah. In fact, this event isn't even real. He set that up. He hired an actor called Marcel to make the event, and then on the second day there will be this exercise where you're gonna look in his eyes and fall in love with him. But yeah. Yeah, exactly. He thinks he's still in the coma. Yeah. Glorious. So this is really, really, really powerful shit. Like, this can make you the center of the fucking dinner. This can make you a partner for the rest of your life. I told this stupid, silly story to my now girlfriend of 8 years. We're gonna get married, we're gonna get kids, we're gonna build a fucking house together, and I could have fucked that up too, you know what I mean? Like, that first date could have been shitty and boring, and I would have not been together with her for 8 years. She would have not been my inspiration and my muse and the cornerstone behind everything I do. She would not be the mother of my children. So take this shit seriously, because you never know what situation, what challenges, what opportunities life gives you. Because here's one thing, sorry, one sec. Here's one thing that I used to always teach to the men in my program, because a lot of them said like, oh, the right woman will come, right? I will fucking bump into her at the library, and then her books will be on the floor, and then our hands touch. Who goes to the fucking library nowadays anyways? But I always put it that way. I'm like, look, the right woman probably already came across you, but you didn't have the balls or the tools to make something out of it. So the right woman is already fucking lost, and you've lost her over and over and over again. But with these tools, if you know what to do, the next time the right woman is going to come across you, you will know what to do. And it could be that you're walking down the street, and we've all been in that situation. We're busy, we're walking down the street, having our AirPods in our head, and all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, there she is. She's beautiful, she's gorgeous, she's everything you could have ever wished for in a woman. And for a brief second, your eyes meet. And it's exactly that moment where you're standing at a crossroads. Are you going to talk to her, or are you going to look away and ignore it? And maybe you do talk to her. You know, you're a little awkward, you're not really funny, but you're striking up a conversation. And out of that conversation, you guys exchange numbers. 2 days later, you meet for coffee, and there's electricity in the air. There's a spark. You resonate well with her. She likes your stupid stories. You like her stories. You realize that there's more behind that pretty smile. And you know what? Maybe you two hit it off. Maybe you two go home together, and you start kissing each other, and you start tearing each other's clothes off, and you have passionate and hot sex. And maybe 6 months later, you're in a committed long-term relationship with that person. Maybe 2 years later, you go take her on a trip, you go down on one knee, and you ask her to marry you, and she says yes. And as you're both crying for joy, you're hugging. Maybe 3 years later, your first daughter is born, and you cannot believe your luck. Your parents love her, your friends love her, and you're going to be together forever for the rest of your life. But boom! You're back in that situation. You're looking at her, your eyes meet. You're still fucking standing there. Are you going to talk to her? That was literally an ad that I shot. It was the first viral video. It sold my second digital product called Fearless, where I taught guys how to overcome their fear of approaching women. It was literally that exact framework. It's pretty cool. You can use it for everything. Hope that makes sense. Hope that hammers in the point. Yep.
I was going to say, I remember seeing that actually back in 2016 or 2017.
He remembers seeing the fucking ad. I told you. Thank you, man. Thanks for underscoring my point. In fact, I had, it was so funny because that was in 2017. I had like, magazines reach out to me and say, like, can we feature this? Like, can we post this and stuff like that? It went absolutely batshit crazy fucking viral. Super epic.
I still, when people mention like ads, that still comes to my head to this day, actually.
That's how you know you created a cool ad, you know, when people remember it. The very, very powerful messaging. Yeah.
Can you speak about how to integrate this with the 3x3 brand matrix?
So the 3x3, so he asked a good question. He's like, how do you integrate this in the 3x3 brand matrix that we talked about yesterday? So for all the Zoom folks, go watch the, I don't know, do the Zoom folks get a recording? I don't know. But he asked how do you integrate that in the 3x3 frame brand, 3x3 brand matrix framework. Where is it? Oi, we done a lot of stuff, folks. A lot of good stuff here. Anybody learn something new here today, by the way? Give me a hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Beautiful, thank you. How do you integrate this into the 3x3 brand matrix? Well, this is what you stand for. This is the thematics that you're talking about, right? So for me, it's again like, oh yeah, the green answers are mine, right? So the first three things that my brand stands for is business, freedom lifestyle, and work ethic. And then within these three, I have three subdivided each and every time. So for me, there's the importance of building a personal brand, the importance of AI, and the importance of a podcast. And having the Max Tornow podcast. So with each and every one of these sub-points, you can sprinkle that into your hero story. So for example, I could say, hey, you know why I'm a business owner? Because my entire life, I watched my dad, who is in a 9-to-5 job, come down the stairs, fucking 8 p.m., it was already dark outside, and he was burnt out, and he was tired, and he was stressed out, and I looked at him, and I must have been 10 years old. I made that decision for the first time, I'm not going to end up like that. That's why I started building a business, right? I could pick up any of these points. I could be like, you know why I travel the world with my girlfriend? Because when I was younger, I had this book that my grandpa gave me for Christmas once. And the book said, National Geographic, photo of the year 1999. And in that National Geographic book, there was one page that young 10-year-old Max would always look at, and that was a page that had a beautiful photo of a sunset in an African savanna. And there were elephants in there, and there were giraffes in there, and there were rhinos in there. But here I was in bumfuck middle of nowhere, Austria. The most exotic animal you would have there is like a trout in the lake. So I told myself, there's a whole wild world out there. I need to figure out a way to do that. And when I met my girlfriend and I was on that first date, I wasn't sure she liked me. I really felt that she thought I was an asshole. But when we talked about our common passion for traveling, and I asked her, what's the animal that you would love to see the most? She said, giraffe. I knew I was gonna love her. I knew she was gonna be the girlfriend of my dreams. So the first trip that I took her on was to Africa. By the way, for transparency, that did not happen. I just made it up on the spot. But this is how you can connect the hero story part with each and every one of the sub-points of your 3x3 brand matrix. I could tell from having worked with you now a little bit, you're overthinking a little bit. Be careful with that. You're thinking in terms of like, check. Think about it more as a sort of framework, because there are hero stories that skip over one of the 5 points, right? There's hero stories that still work even though you don't bridge the gap perfectly. So don't overthink it too much. It's more like a thing that if you feel like you need inspiration, go look at the theory of things, allow some ideas to bubble up, and then usually within 10-20 minutes you got something pretty cool. And then the other thing is, when you do have something that you want to talk about, write it out, have an AI write it out for you, and then look at it through the lens of this and the hero story and everything else. Look at it through the lens and be like, how can I make it better? Does it include, maybe I could talk a little bit more about the visuals. Maybe I could talk a little bit more about the audio. Maybe I could talk a little bit more about my hero story. Maybe I can include it there. So it's more like something that you can look through a lens. Oh, I'm retarded, I've got to do it the other way. It's more like a lens that you can look at to make content even better. And that's exactly what we're doing, for example, when we're working one-on-one with our clients. They come up with something, they come up with something that the AI gave to them, and then they bring it to us or to me, and I'm like, okay, here's what you're missing. You need to add this a little bit better, and you need to cut this out. Right? So this is good for you to understand, especially if you are working with me or with Marcel or with both of us one-on-one, because we will reference these things and say like, hey, add this more, flesh that out more, and once you have that understanding, it will be easier for you to execute that. Does that make sense? Fuck yeah. I think you were first and then you.
Do you think Instagram highlights are like fluff or like actually
He asked, do you think Instagram highlights are fluff or do they actually work? Just to show you what an Instagram highlight is. Instagram highlights is if you go to a profile, right, and you have all the posts down below here, and you have these little bubbles here. Those are highlights. Those are the ones you're referring to, right? Yeah. Those are Instagram highlights. These are basically Instagram stories that you denoted as highlights, and now they're at the kind of like the top of your profile. They absolutely do work. The reason why they work so well is it's amongst the things that people look at. So I'm going to tell you the quote-unquote customer journey when someone looks at an Instagram profile. And this is really cool because I got this from Gary Vee. Anybody know Gary Vee, Gary Vaynerchuk? I love that one story that he said once. He's like, he used to, when he was a kid, he used to trade baseball cards. Anybody know that story? He used to trade baseball cards. So he would go to the mall or to like a fucking fair or something, and he would lay out the baseball cards on a table, right? And then this is such genius shit because it really tells you why Gary Vee has always been a genius with marketing, because he started this shit very, very early on. He said he would sit there in front of the table with the baseball cards laid out, and when someone would come to the table, the first thing Gary, would look at was where on the table the person would look at first. And he figured out that most people that would come to the table would look at the top left of the table first. Probably because when we read stuff, we start at the top left as well. So what did he do? Any idea? He put the most expensive, best baseball cards to the top left. So when people come in, they're like, what's going on at the top? Oh, holy shit, this guy got all the sick cards. So now they're standing there longer, they're spending more time on the app, so to speak, and now they can convert better. An interesting, funny side note story there as well. I told you all that I spent $100,000 on a one-on-one mentoring with Ty Lopez. One of the questions that I asked Ty, as weird as it sounds, because I was really insecure about my tattoos, because these tattoos worked really well when I was a dating coach, because they got me more attention from women because they love tattoos. They were an expression of me just giving no fucks about ever getting a job again, basically like I have to make the business work. But I was a little insecure. I'm like, okay, shit, now I'm a business coach, meaning I need to be professional enough. I need to have some sort of professional demeanor and brand because people trust me with their businesses, right? Ty, do you think it is an issue that I have these tattoos? Do they take trust away from me because some of the more old school people are going to say, well, he got tattoos, he can't be smart, right? There's a guy from the streets or something like that. And Ty's answer was fucking beautiful because it encompasses the modern era of marketing, the third wave of wealth creation with personal branding perfectly. He said, your tattoos are literally making you more money. And I asked him why, and he said, because people stare at them. Who here has stared at my tattoos when they first saw me for the first time? They're like, what's written on there, right? And when people stare at the fucking tattoos, they spend more time on your content, which means they hear you talk for longer, which means anything you do converts a little bit better. No, you do not have to get finger tattoos now. Please don't sign up for that. I'm going to fucking increase my conversion by getting finger tattoos. But it's pretty genius. He's like when you have an ad, and people are like, who the fuck, does he have the PlayStation buttons on his right hand? What a fucking idiot. While they think that, they hear me talk, and they're like, wait, what? Online business creation with AI? What? That's interesting. Hold on, let me listen to what this guy has to say. Boom, now they convert better. So that's pretty interesting. So where people look and how much time they spend looking at your stuff matters a lot in today's digital day and age. So let's say this is an Instagram page, an Instagram profile. Okay, so you go to Max Tornow or Max Tornow Business. What you're going to see here at the top left is you're going to see the profile photo, right? This is my profile photo. Then you have the bio. I'm just thinking, is it to the right or underneath? I think Bottom left? No, bro. Let me see. It's funny. I don't even know where the bio is underneath. Oh yeah, it is underneath. There we go. Okay. So you have the name here. You got Max Tornow here. And then you have the bio. It's usually 4 lines, 3 to 4 lines, depending on how you split it up. Now, we can talk about the bio too if you guys want. Fuck yeah, we'll do that too. And then you have one link here. I'm just gonna make it like this. This is one link. This is the link in bio, the so-called link in bio. Here you have the posts. For me, this is, I'm just gonna write down like 871. Then you have the followers, 56K, and then you have the following, 1.1K, whatever. Yeah. So it says here posts, followers, and then following. And then here you have the username, here you have the bio, and now here you have these little bubbles. These are the highlights, and then down here, you start having the feed. The feed is divided into 3, if you know, it's 3 by 3. You can pin stuff there and so on and so forth. Now his question was, how important is those highlights, these little bubbles here? In fact, they are quite important. So let's assume someone is scrolling down, right? Just the average person, life is boring, cat on a skateboard, here's an interesting hook, I'm gonna go watch this person's fucking reel. If your reel converts well, people are gonna be like, this is interesting. Let me check out this profile to see if I can get more content like this. This is what they're gonna see. This is the modern equivalent of a business card. Right? This is literally, this fucking thing can make or break your entire business and make all your dreams come true. Because if this keeps people on your profile, it makes them click here, or ideally even to the fucking link in bio, it massively increases the chances of them becoming a fan. Like every single second they're spending on this drastically increases their chances of buying your product, following you, becoming a diehard fan, and buying from you over and over again and creating massive lifetime value. So that being said, you need to be on point. You need to be on point with the bio and with your highlights, because these are the first things people are going to go through. With the bio here, the way we usually do it is, the first line in your bio, I'm going to put a little 1 here, the first line in your bio should include what you do, what the end result is, and to whom you deliver that. We talked about this yesterday or 2 days ago. Remember how we talked about the offering? It was a lady, or was it you? We talked about the offer with you? Yeah, the women in their 20s, right? Overcome anxiety and stress. That goes in here. I need to feel addressed as the person in your audience. You had men in their 30s and 40s, right? And you wanted to deliver them the end result of mind control their emotions, becoming more stress resilient, and so on and so forth. So we still need to work on that. I see it, I agree with you. But what I would write here, so for example, in my case, I would write like, helping you build your freedom business by leveraging the power of personal branding. Just as an example. Helping you lose 20 pounds in 4 weeks without having to say no to your favorite foods. Right? What's the end result? Who do you deliver it to? In this regard, there's a little mini hack. You guys want to know a little mini hack? No? Nobody wants to know the mini hack? Okay, little mini hack. There is a second section here next to your username that includes your name. And into that name, you can actually already mention the keyword of what you do. So if you go to, let me find a good example here. Can't find any, fuck it. Instead of just having your name here, because Max Tornow is my username, right? And then I would have my name here again, Max Tornow. You could actually write things like branding expert.
I changed my IG yesterday after your talk. I will open my IG. Would you check?
I'll check it in a second. We'll get there in a second. Actually, you know what? If you remind me tomorrow I want to actually go through viral content, analyze it, and I can check yours and I can check some other people. Would that be valuable for you guys? Yes. If I give some examples tomorrow? Cool. Yeah, I'll check your profile tomorrow, I'll check your profile tomorrow, I'll check anyone's profile tomorrow, and I'll go through some of my viral content where you can then literally see all the concepts that we've learned yesterday and today in action, so to speak. It's going to be super fucking epic. So make sure you show up tomorrow, please. Show up well rested, caffeinated. Anyways, so you can write a keyword that fits in there. If you do real estate, if you do VIP luxury experiences, what's the name of your profile?
My name.
Okay. First name, last name, VIP luxury experiences. Add that shit in there, because this little section here, whatever is written in here, Instagram values it very highly in terms of keywords. So if I look for VIP luxury experiences San Francisco, if I type that into the search bar in Instagram, and there is someone that has VIP luxury experiences San Francisco or a similar variation of that keyword in their profile name, I'll be likely to come to that profile. The profile will be likely to be ranked pretty high in the search bar. So this is pretty fucking helpful. Not many people know about this. These are like the kind of fucking little nuances you figure out when you're a business owner like me that's like 10 years in the game. You figure this shit out, you tell it to all your clients. Like, this can sometimes make or break someone's business. So there's always a cool example of like little pieces of knowledge that I acquired that I then pass on to my clients. Anyways, first line in your bio is usually your audience and the end result that you deliver. Second line in your bio is any sort of facts that make you special. For me, if you look at my second line, let's go to Max Tornow Business. If you look at my second line in there, it says $10 million in student sales. It could say things like 35 million views collectively over all my pieces of content. For you, it would probably say something like ex-Navy SEALs, 6 months in a coma, overcame diversity, something like not everybody has experienced that. So that would be really fucking badass, right? If I'm Lewis Hamilton, I'm gonna say 7 times world championship winner, 7 times winner, whatever. X times gold medalist, and so on and so forth. Olympic athlete, whatever. What makes you special? Any sort of numbers, right? If you're in real estate, how much money have you sold so far? Like, sold $45 million in property, 10 years of experience, 35,000 students worldwide. Give me some cool fucking number, okay? The third one, how would I call it? I would call it like a personal quirk of yours. A personal motto that you have. Anything where you show a little bit of personality, okay? So the first one is what end result you deliver and to whom. The second one is a little bit of bragging, any sort of numbers or facts about you. And the third one is a personal message, a personal credo, a personal motto, something that makes people resonate with you. I used to have, or I have it right now, I can't remember, professional nerd. It's cute. It's like, nah, we know Max is a nerd. He likes video games and heavy metal. That's funny, right? So if my personal profile right now doesn't even include these things. It's much more improvised than I did right now, because I don't use my personal profile for business anymore. So if you follow me on Max Tornow, I do not follow these rules entirely, but if I did, this is how it would look like. Dog mom, for example. That would also be funny, right? If you're a businesswoman, you're doing real estate, and you're like dog mom of whatever fucking funny names you have for your dogs, like Bonnie and Clyde. That would be cute. People are like, oh wow, cool. There's a human behind this. It's not just numbers and service, right? And then the fourth line is the CTA, because the CTA points down towards the link. So if you have something free to give away, the CTA would be like, get your free real estate assessment down below. Download my free weight loss guide down below, right? Check out the Max Tornow podcast down below. Check out my free training on how to go viral within 30 days down below. Make sense? That's the bio. So I'm leading the person who just randomly came across me while waiting for their Uber via a viral reel. I'm leading them through me. It's almost like Gary Vee led them through the good baseball cards first. It's like when you go to a store, what does every grocery store have when you enter? What's the first thing you see in the grocery store? Fruit. Who goes to the grocery store, right? If you go to an actual big grocery store, it's always the fruit aisle first, because it's more colorful. It's orange, yellow, green, red. It's like it's attractive to look at. Imagine they would have canned food first, like the fucking most boring shit to look at. Like, it's literally designed to reel you in. Like, I want all the beautiful fruits, reel you in. So now you're stuck. Now you got to buy shit. So that's all done for a reason. That's that. And then you have the highlights. Now, what the highlights do is it can give people a little bit more insights. There's two kinds of highlights you always want to have. Who am I and what do I do? You got it already, yeah? Who am I, what do you do? And if you have a third one, client results. Yeah. If you're in real estate, it would be like the properties that you've sold. It would be maybe a screenshot from someone that you worked with that said thank you. They're like, oh my God, you changed my life. Right? Client results. Who am I and what do I do? So for you, it would be, who am I? And then there would be a couple stories that you highlighted about your story, your hero story, where you were at first, the decision. You could literally have a clip for each and every part of your hero story. You would have a photo of you, this is me growing up. I was always a small kid, I was always being made fun of. Then I made the decision, I'm gonna work on myself, I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna become better at sports. Then I joined the army. When I joined the army, I was crushing it, I became part of the Navy SEALs, then boom, next thing I know, I wake up in a hospital. Don't know where I am, I was in a coma. From there on, I made the decision that I'm gonna pull myself out of this, I'm gonna work on myself, I'm gonna get in touch with personal development, learn more about hypnosis, work on myself. Now I help people. Now I help other people that are in XYZ situation, they wanna get to XYZ. That would be, who am I? The what do I do would be more about your methodology, right? It's like, I help people become their best selves by releasing their trauma, by releasing them from the grip of their trauma, by helping them overcome anxiety and the fears that we're all born with, that we acquire through like years of hardship and hard work. My approach is holistic because it does not only include blah, 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 but we also help people get better at nutrition, become happier, become better fathers, and so on and so forth. So here you talk about your methodology. For me personally, for me in my business, it would be like, we help people make money because we focus on developing their personal brand and have leverage AI to do most of the work for them. That would be my methodology there. And then the third one would then be client highlights, right? If you go to Max Tornow Business, you have like fucking, I think 700 client highlights. It's screenshots from people reporting the money that they made. And with the client highlights, as much as you can, make them vary. So if you go to my client highlights, it's not just people making 100K or 50K, we also add smaller goals in there. Because for some people, the end results that we depict here are so big they can't resonate with them anymore, right? They're like, well shit, this guy made 100K a month, I can't make 100K, I'd be happy if I made a couple thousand on the side. So you want to carry these people as well, you want to pick them up too, right? Another great example in the dating niche that we used to have, don't just have the same fucking white guy in his 20s reporting awesome results. Because maybe some of your clients are going to be immigrants and they say, no white girl wants me because I have a thick Indian accent. So you want to, if you have worked with someone from India, have them in there. The guy that's too old, the guy that thinks he's too young. I covered all demographics that are within my target audience. This is key. Like they should still be within your target audience. But like with these client results that I would always post, I would already pre-handle everyone's objection. Does that make sense? So if the guy comes to my profile and says, well, this only works if you're good looking and tall and in your mid-30s. I would destroy that by having a guy that says, I am only 5'5", I'm dating a model. I mean, as long as it's fucking real and you've had a person like that, make sure you cover all your bases and all your potential, my brain just died, objections. All your potential objections, you handle them as much as possible. Now in the beginning, you'll be happy if you have 1 or 2 people that have said you do a good job. So in the beginning, it's gonna be like 1 or 2 screenshots of maybe your mom. He's great, I love him. Over time, as you're getting more and more clients, this will literally be hundreds. Like again, if you go to Max Tornow Business, there's literally, I know it's hundreds, specifically hundreds, because you can put 100 stories per highlight, and then it says the highlight section is full. So, and we had to like make new highlights because we already had like hundreds of client results in there. It's pretty crazy. And that now makes hopefully sense, right? So you have you, what do you do, client success stories. Those are kind of like the minimums that you want to have. So it's like you, what you do, don't, just write notes as I'm speaking, not look at it. You, what you do, and then client results, CR. And then the other ones, you can fill them up with showing that you have the end result. I'm gonna put in ER. So if you go to Max Tornow Business, you see who am I, what do I do, client results, client wins, and then the rest is just me showing that I have the end result. What is the end result for my audience?
Now the business owners, they make money.
Yeah? Why does everybody want to make a fucking business? So they can travel the world, buy shit, be there with their loved ones. So my highlights are full of traveling, nice cars, girlfriend trips, trips with my dad, trips with my family, seeing the world, all that shit. That's all. I have like hundreds of these across my profile as well. So people go there, they get stuck in this, they're like, holy shit, this guy is fucking interesting. He's a really interesting hero story. The methodology sounds really fucking cool. This is like, wow, this is really comprehensive. This is what I want. Look, oh wow, that guy or girl is also really legit. Or their products, right? If you sell a physical product, cat food, same shit. You would show happy cat owners. My cat never ate the food. Look at her eating your fucking food now. Client results in there. And then end result. Happy cat, cat purring, cat looking healthy, cat blood values looking great, cat fur being beautiful, like just end result, end result, end result, end result, end result. And then down below here you have your content. In the content you can pin content, you can pin up to 3. There's like a little pin symbol here in the bottom, you've probably seen it. You can have up to 3 things pinned on your feed. What I would usually do there on the 3 things, I have at least 2 of my best performing content because you can see the number of views. If you go to Max Tornow Business, you see the best performing content there. And if you have either a hero story reel of yours that kind of like re-amplifies what they see here in the highlights, it's totally fine if it's the same shit, by the way. Don't be like, but the hero story is already in the highlights. Doesn't matter. It's totally cool if you repeat it. Either have a hero story there or another client result. We'll go through it more tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to go through my Instagram account if you want. I'm going to look at your Instagram account. We'll look at some viral reels. Maybe we'll even pull up random shit and we'll break it down. But for me, if you go to my profile, the 3rd one here is also a great client one. And we shot this literally on the spot in Tokyo. I'm just going to play it.
Things you should never do when you want to start a business. Number 1, create a website. You don't need a damn website anymore. Nobody cares. Number 2, run ads or anything like this. Absolutely unnecessary to run paid advertising if you want to make 10 or 20K a month. Like our client here, Alec, for example. Alec, how much did you make last month?
Just over 21K.
Boom, no website, no ads, or any of that crap needed. If you want to know more, just DM me the word 10K and I'll send you all the details. Let's go.
Done.
Yeah, no fat.
Yeah, 0 fat. Yeah. So you can really see like a lot of the shit that we've been learning, trim the fat, interesting hook, move on, call to action word, right? Remember the call to action? Comment down below, call to action. Let me see how many comments I got on that.
I'm going to send you a video I did.
Love it. We'll look at it tomorrow. We'll break it down tomorrow. I got 4,650 comments on that. To all ones, 45 shares and 588,000 views on this one. Yeah, I had other videos that did even more. It's really fucking cool. So you can really see, and it's all like, again, like it's, how much did it cost me to shoot this fucking video? I was literally at Starbucks in Tokyo with one of my clients that is Japanese. And we're like, I should make a video about like, you don't need a fucking website. And like, my client didn't even know. He wasn't, we didn't plan this. He was sitting next to me drinking coffee. And then I'm like, Alec, how much did you make? He's like, just over 21. He actually said, of course we cut out, right? And then boom. So it's pretty straightforward. If you watch this entire video till the end, it means that you're very, very serious about using AI, about making money, about building your brand. And for you, I got a special gift right here, right now. And that is your free AI implementation call with my team. On that call, you're gonna be hopping one-on-one on a call with one of my experts. We're gonna be looking at your business idea if you wanna get started, or your existing current business. We're gonna be telling you exactly what AI tools you can implement, where to get those, what to post, where to post, how to get your first clients, how to get more clients, how to automate your business. We can tell you everything one-on-one, and it all works via the link down in the description. Now, I'm not promoting this free AI implementation call in any video. I'm usually just withholding that because our time is very valuable. Obviously, we're only human beings, so we can only do that call for so many people. And if I said I want to promote this for free, I'm going to put it at the end of this video, because if you watch it all the way till the end, it means you're very, very serious about that. So because we have very limited spots, click that link in the description right now. If it still lets you through, it means we still have a spot open for you. If it doesn't let you through, it means we're completely full and we cannot help you. But if you're serious about this, whether you're just getting started or you're an existing business owner, you want to scale and automate, and you want to have AI do most of the work for you, book that call with us. Let's talk soon. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. Cheers.